Welcome to Nick and Dave Deep Dive the Metaverse, a podcast exploring cult classics, subculture, and geek media. I'm Nick.
And I'm Dave.
And we will be your tour guides today for this deep dive of the first two installments of Zack Snyder's prematurely aborted 5-part superhero epic. That's Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, parentheses, Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, that's a mouthful right there.
Yeah, it's as kind of sprawling and lost in the weeds as the movie is.
Yeah, so I had never seen either of these movies.
Yeah.
And I am one of the people who's quick to say DC is garbage.
Right.
Because it mostly is. And
that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this, because on our very first, our 0 episode, you said, can we agree that Marvel movies are better than DC movies?
Yeah.
That is true.
Okay.
But I think it's worth discussing why.
Yeah, and I think I would also, at some point, when it's timely, I would like to do a Dark Knight trilogy episode, because those are actually really good.
Definitely. I definitely am down to do that.
So I'd never seen either of these movies. I like Ben Affleck. I like Henry Cavill. And so both of those actors are people that I usually enjoy their movies or their content. So I came into this with an open heart, wanting to like it, especially Batman, because I've been a Batman fan since I was a kid. I mean, I was a spooky kid, and I always liked Darth Vader, and I always liked Batman. The anti-hero vibe is my thing. And so Superman was always like the opposite of my thing. He's like the invincible Boy Scout.
Right.
And so I did not, my preconceived notions were that Batman cool, Superman lame, and I didn't even know Wonder Woman was in it.
That's funny. Yeah. So I saw these movies as they were coming out, because I'm that guy.
Sure.
And to be honest with you, I actually had sort of forgotten how much I like Man of Steel, because I think the sort of shadow of BVS and then Justice League kind of drags down Man of Steel and casts it in a bad light. But rewatching that, I was like, oh yeah, I like this movie. This one's pretty good.
Yeah, I watched these on 2 separate days, but back to back, like Friday then Saturday. And after watching Man of Steel, I was like, okay, that was really good. That was fun. I enjoyed it. I came away with it like thinking, okay, the next one's going to be good too. And then my wife, Carrie, she just shook her head. She didn't want to spoil it.
She was like, go ahead and think that.
She's like, yeah, okay, you could think that, because she's a lot more comic book fan than I am. So she saw these originally too. And, she brought up a really good point. It's like, why? Okay, so Man of Steel is a straight up sci-fi movie.
Yes, and it's space opera and alien invasion.
And so why haven't they ever done like a really rad Green Lantern sci-fi movie? Because it's a really great property.
Yeah, why haven't they?
I mean,
I have no idea. It's there's and maybe we'll get into this, because this movie, we're dropping this on the 15th of March. In 3 days afterwards, Zack Snyder's Justice League will be dropping on to HBO Max, which is ostensibly why we're doing this right now.
Yeah, this is like the prelude to that.
Yeah, and it's going to introduce Green Lantern, so it's certainly trying to set up a Green Lantern movie.
And I've never seen Justice League. So that's good. I'll only see the good version, supposedly good version.
The pure version.
The Zack Snyder version.
Yeah, it's his pure vision. I don't expect it's going to be good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
And we're doing a whole episode on this movie that you don't think is going to be good?
Correct. That's my plan.
Okay. Nick's at the helm for these two. Just like I was the one that navigated us to Alice in Chains. This is Nick's vibe. And so yeah, we'll see how it goes. I do want to go on record as saying fuck Joss Whedon, and I'm a hipster for that. So even before everyone came out with hating him, I've said he was a hack since since Buffy, since Angel. Yeah, so I think
we both like Firefly, though.
I think Firefly is 12 or 13 episodes of potential.
Yeah.
That is actually, in retrospect, it's kind of like, don't go and rewatch Highlander the series.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go and rewatch Firefly. You won't be as impressed as you were.
I think Firefly, and I'll extend this to Buffy, also really benefited from the lack of competition in the in the market now, where we have the quality of genre content that we have. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't cut it.
Like The Expanse annihilates
Firefly.
They're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
One's kind of like campy space western, and the other one's a little bit pseudo hard sci-fi. But just sci-fi.
The Mandalorian against Firefly.
Mandalorian is a space western, and it dominates Firefly. And if you don't agree with me, you are wrong. Because everyone, like, go to Metacritic, go to Rotten Tomatoes, everyone agrees Mandalorian is gold, and like Firefly is runner-up for bronze.
Yeah. Are you aware of the fan base that we're potentially pissing off with this episode?
The brown coats?
No. I mean, those are old people. The Snyder bronies.
There are Snyder bronies?
Oh, yes. Zack Snyder has a fanatical and often toxic fan base that thinks he is the greatest filmmaker of all time.
Well, if you're a Snyder brony and you're listening to this, understand, I really liked Man of Steel. Mm-hmm. It was amazing.
300, good.
Yeah. I'm not a Snyder hater. Did he write these or just direct?
I think he has a story credit, but not the script credit.
Because the only problem I have for these movies is the writing.
Yeah.
And if you're a Snyder brony, you should get like a better fandom.
Yeah, there's this whole subset of people that basically think Zack Snyder's the greatest filmmaker of all time, and
they should check out Michael Bay.
Have you heard of this? The Rock.
Fast and Furious too. I mean,
did Michael Bay do Fast and Furious?
No, I'm just saying like equivalent, like better movies than Zack Snyder movies.
But they also think that essentially Disney buys all the good press for Marvel, and that those are not legitimate reviews. That Disney pays shills to give good reviews to their movies.
Okay, well, I'm not a shill, and I think most comic book movies are highly suspect and mediocre, but Disney does make good content. Like Mandalorian is awesome, and I think
they have a bottomless wallet.
Yeah,
and they hire the best people.
They're the New York Yankees of this sort of nerd IP.
It's you want to root against them, but you can't deny the power or the talent.
They don't really have anybody that's competing with them. I mean, closest thing in my mind is maybe Paramount with Star Trek.
Yeah,
and because Picard is awesome.
Yeah,
not so much Discovery.
Okay. Well, I think we've that's enough of our sort of ramble.
Sure.
Have you been up to anything since the last recording?
Yes, a little bit. I don't have a lot going on aside from I've been super busy with work, and Barrowlands has been practicing and getting our social distanced, masked up music on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because the studio is big enough, we can stand far enough apart and play. But I did go to a nerdy place, and I figured I would talk about that.
Oh, sweet. Where'd you go?
I went to a gaming store that I had never been to in Vancouver, Washington, called Fate and Fury.
I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, it's tucked away. It's over there off like 112th and Burton, kind of. Like there used to be an old Schwinn shop on that corner, and it's an old mini mall.
Yeah.
And I had only heard about this through a friend who said, because I mentioned there's only like one or two gaming stores in the whole town, and he mentioned this place. Shout out to Ed. And I went there, and turns out Fate and Fury, it looks like a tiny storefront, but it actually extends way back. The building is much bigger than it seems.
Okay.
It's like a bag of holding.
Yeah.
It's got a ton of stuff. It's a ton of space.
Mm-hmm.
I went
or
in,
a TARDIS for our Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah. We should do like a Doctor Who thing because
I've never watched any of it.
Dude, that would be perfect. We should give that a shot. I have a friend who's a super fan. I'll ask him where to start.
Oh man.
So anyway, Fate and Fury is a primarily wargaming game shop with heavy magic and heavy D&D. So the big things, Warhammer 40K, some fantasy, but it's mostly a 40K shop. And I used to play Magic. I still play D&D. I actually don't play D&D right now, but I love D&D. So it was a really cool shop. I went in there. I was the only one in there, and the kid, I call him a kid. He's probably like 28, But the guy working there came out from behind the counter and talked to me, and we were chatting about Warhammer. And I dropped some kind of deep nerd lore, and he knew it, and we talked about it. So
you had to test him.
Yeah, well, he asked me what was my current project, and I just wanted to see if he would give me the or actually know about it. So anyway, yeah, he knew his stuff. They know about 40K. They're legit players there, and it was clean. They serve beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they serve beer and have some snacks. It's not like prepared food. So, like, you can go there and toss the dice, drink a brew, and be around people who are, like, friendly and knowledgeable and have a pretty good inventory selection.
Well, that's cool.
So, I mean, I have been buying models and stuff from Dice Age for a very long time.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to go and play at Fate and Fury because they have open tables because they fall under the bar guidelines because they serve beer, so they can have a 25% capacity, etc.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. So at some point I'm going to go in there and play some games.
Cool.
Yeah, I was excited to find a new place that's actually closer to my house than other places. So that's pretty much it for me. How about you? What have you been up to?
Oh, geez, not much. I got a haircut. I'm feeling that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm happy with that. Yeah, you're cleaned up nicely. I went to a couple breweries yesterday with some our dedicated divers, Chris and Amber.
Oh, nice.
And that's where I got our podcast fuel for today. I got it the Great Notion Brewery out in Beaverton.
Okay.
Also went to Wolves and People, which is a farmhouse brewery kind of out in wine country.
Interesting.
And it's in an old barn in a hazelnut orchard. It's like a hazelnut barn that they've converted into a brewery.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's a good spot. I was hoping the streak of spring-like weather we were having would keep up a little longer. It didn't quite make it to the weekend, but it still was nice.
This is known as Fool's Spring.
Right? It totally is full of spring right now.
Yeah, it's not spring. It's going to rain. It's going to maybe even freeze again.
I know. I always feel bad for the trees because all the fruit trees, everything starts to get little blossoms on it, and then one more freeze will sneak in before the real spring comes.
For sure. That reminds me, I need to go trim my trees.
Yeah, you have to be a hardy tree, a hardy fruit tree in the Northwest.
All right. So, what's our podcast fuel?
I brought 2 beers from Fort George, and we are going to be starting with the Fanzine IPA. It's actually... I brought 2 beers from Great Notion. This is a collab between Fort George and Great Notion.
Okay.
This is the 2021 Fanzine IPA. It is 6.7 ABV. IBU is not listed. They do this every year. Fort George collabs with a different brewery and puts this out. This one is dry hopped with a mix of traditional and newer varieties. Has got a light grain bill, lets those hops shine. So you get that mango, pine, and tangerine flavors.
I think I taste a little more pine than I prefer. It's a good beer. I definitely will finish this beer. But I think it's it's not quite as good as that last one that we had.
Yeah, we've had a streak of good hazies these last 3 episodes.
And then I had a really good one at 5440 the other day. So I'm spoiled for good choices here on hazies and just IPAs in general. Man, shout out, rest in peace, Boneyard Brewery. Speaking of IPAs.
I think rumors of their demise are greatly exaggerated. I think Boneyard's going to be just fine. I don't think Deschutes is going to. So background, 2 Bend breweries. The bigger one bought the little one. Deschutes Brewery,
I'm a big fan of the little one. Nick's wearing their shirt right now.
I'm wearing a Boneyard shirt. Yeah, I have
a shirt too.
I'm a fan of Boneyard, and I'm a fan of Deschutes.
Me too.
I think this is really a symbiotic thing. I don't think it's a buyout.
It
really.
might have been a lifeline for Boneyard given the pandemic.
I think Boneyard probably found themselves not being able to support their tap room with everything being shut down. And Deschutes, kind of the big papa of breweries in Bend, Oregon, helping their buddies out. Because the head brewer at Boneyard cut his teeth at Deschutes.
Yeah, I'm mostly being hyperbolic because I'm a Deschutes fan. As long as they don't cancel the brand or roll in the beers under Deschutes, like I don't want to see a Deschutes RPM.
Yeah. But if there's some cool collabs that happen, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd be up for that. That'd be really cool.
Okay, so why don't we take a little break and we will get into the first movie, Man of Steel.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, divers, welcome back. We're going to do a little deviation from our regular format. We're not going to do a beat by beat because it would literally take us 6 hours or more to go through these movies. So I'm going to give you my succinct synopsis of Man of Steel. Dave's going to, jump in with his observations and we'll keep it conversational. It's not going to be like a book report. And then we'll get into our regular discussion. So I guess I'll just get started.
Yeah.
So the movie begins with the last days of the planet Krypton. We witness the birth of our titular Man of Steel, Kal-El. He's the first Kryptonian baby born the old-fashioned way in a century. And then we're introduced to the competing moral philosophies. We have scientist Jor-El and his frenemy General Zod.
Yeah, and Jor-El is played by Russell Crowe, who does a fairly good job in this role. But isn't Russell Crowe like a renowned douchebag?
Kind of.
Why is he getting work?
Well, this was, 2013.
Oh, okay. So this is a little older.
Yeah. And Russell Crowe, give a little leeway to our Australian brothers and sisters. They're a little rough around the edges.
Okay, they get a pass.
They like,
throwing phones at people and stuff.
They like to drink their giant cans of piss beer, and they have a little temper.
That's a harmful stereotype right there. I was thinking that they should have had, if they wanted someone who would emulate Henry Cavill's stature but older, they should have had like Dolph Lundgren or Arnold Schwarzenegger do this.
I don't think Arnold really was probably up for it. And then Dolph Lundgren, I told you this before, Dolph Lundgren is a different DC character's dad. So you're not far from the mark with him. But they had designs on him somewhere else.
All right.
But I think this is kind of like, Russell Crowe still looks very fit in this movie.
Yeah.
He's gotten a little paunchier since then.
He went from Gladiator to looking like me.
Yeah. Russell Crowe is in full dad bod at this point.
Yeah.
But he's still kind of action hero bod in this movie. Speaking of dad bod Russell Crowe, and I'm not going to do too long of a tangent, but have you seen The Good Guys, I think it is, with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe?
No,
it's like a 70s
not.
detective comedy.
Nope.
Oh, dude. That movie's so good.
Is it funny?
It's hilarious.
Okay.
And
I like Ryan Gosling. He's funny.
Yeah. Okay. So anyways, yes. Jor-El. Jor-El basically, he's of the philosophy of, we're all fucked. I'm going to load all the genetic data from my species into my son, put him in a rocket ship, and blast him to Earth, where he will be as powerful as a god.
And this is kind of like a Moses analog. Okay.
Very messianic. This movie is loaded with biblical subtext and imagery. So his frenemy Zod, his philosophy is, since the planet's doomed, I'm going to do a coup d'etat, maybe some genocide, and get the planet on track before it blows up.
And my first impression here was, first of all, Zod has bad bangs. And secondly, Zod is a space Nazi. He wants to do eugenics. He's all about fascist military rule. Yeah.
I think you're close. I was thinking about it on the drive over here, and I think Zod is a tanky communist.
Okay.
because he has a collectivist mentality.
That's true.
I think, he's a classic tanky. He's that aggressive, oppressive kind of communist that's gonna iron fist his way.
Okay, he's more of a Lenin than Hitler.
And I think since you brought it up here, I think Zack Snyder has a libertarian ideology, a kind of Ayn Rand worldview.
Okay, and if you're a Snyder brony, fuck you.
And so it makes total sense that the communists are the bad guys, right? Like, the Zod is sort of a communist, a Stalinist sort of guy.
Okay.
For an Ayn Randian, that's the ultimate villain. So, anyways, they don't see eye to eye. And ultimately, Jor-El prevails, but not without getting killed by Zod. And then Zod and his fellow insurrectionists get sentenced to the Phantom Zone for their efforts. And then ultimately, that saves their lives because Krypton blows up afterwards.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, so first of all, they find them guilty, and instead of just icing them, they freeze them in carbonite like a sleazy Hut bounty, and put them in the Phantom Zone, which sounds lame, by the way.
Uh-huh.
And then they blast them into space, and then Krypton blows up. And I'm like, well, at least the bad guys survived.
Right.
Stupid asses.
It is. The planet's gone, but space jail's okay.
Yeah. Why? Come on.
See,
these Kryptonians are idiots.
Krypton strikes, because it's a very Star Wars kind of planet.
Mm-hmm.
Krypton strikes me as like one of those, they were part of the Galactic Republic, but were siding with the Separatists during the Clone Wars. Like, they seem like a both sides kind of shady planet.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought, like, this was just, it was dumb how the Kryptonians did this. And just from a meta perspective, if you're looking at it, you're like, okay, we know our planet is blowing up or is deteriorating.
Well, they're denying climate change.
Yeah, they really are. They are libertarians. So they know their planet's going to shit, so they send the bad guys to stasis space jail, and they send the last hope of their species off on a dinghy, and they head him. They send him to Earth, and kind of after that, it just sort of like, it just hard cut to Henry Cavill as an adult on a fishing boat.
Yeah, I said he's on like a prolonged Rumspringa. Like how the Amish people leave their co-ops and go out into the world when they become adults. But he's on a long one because he's in his 30s.
And can we agree that he looks better with the beard?
Oh, see, Lisa thought he looked silly with the beard. I think he looks rugged.
Yeah, like seriously, he should keep that beard.
He would look badass with the beard in the Superman suit.
Yeah, exactly. We need like a rugged, manly Superman, not like a boyish Superman.
Henry Cavill is the manliest Superman, I think, of all time.
He really is. He's the best Superman of all time, that's for sure.
Oh, wow. I don't know that I disagree with you, but that's...
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I was talking to Carrie. I was like, I said, just watching the movie and having, like, when he goes somewhere and, like, he takes off his shirt, how they do it, and he's just fucking yoked. Yeah. First of all, I wonder how much juice he had to do. But second, I was just thinking to myself, so there's always going to be, like, the best of something or the most handsome. Is Henry Cavill the most handsome man?
In the world?
Yeah, in the world. Like, who's more handsome?
I don't know. I think
maybe it's just what you appreciate.
And you appreciate Henry Cavill?
I appreciate that look. Henry
Cavill is definitely like a hunk of granite.
He's definitely a 10 out of 10.
He's a very handsome man. I think to say he's the most handsome man in the world, I think you get into like European beauty standards and a lot of stuff that could be debated.
Well, he's European.
Yeah.
He's English.
So yes, so by European beauty standards, yeah, he is a 10 out of 10. We're agreed on this. Henry Cavill is a hunk of beef.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he looks great in this movie, and I follow him on Instagram, and he always looks good. But in this movie, he's been working out quite a lot.
Yeah. And so he's just out in the world adventuring and trying to find his place. And he's not very good at crabbing, but he's pretty good at rescuing oil rig roughnecks who are in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's the scene. So he basically fucks off from the crabbing boat to go save these oil rig guys, and then washes up on shore afterwards. And that's the shirtless scene you were talking about.
Yeah. That must
and I guess he washes up in Canada somewhere because he finds himself bussing tables in like this Canadian roadhouse. And he overhears these soldiers talking about some sort of mysterious joint military installation with the Americans, and there's some sort of anomaly in the ice out in the Arctic somewhere, and he's going to go check that out. But before he goes there, he takes the time to totally wreck the semi-truck of some asshole logger.
Yeah, I think you actually kind of skipped a couple of things there, but that's fine. We're not beat for beat.
Mm-hmm.
Like one thing that I thought was pretty great is he ends up, there's on the oil rig when he's like rescuing the dudes and stuff. Mm-hmm. He takes the workers and he puts them on the helicopter, and then like he looks up and there's a thing about to fall down, and I'm just like, fly up to it. I just want to see him fly through the helicopter rotors.
Destroy the chopper.
It's like, oh shit, I miscalculated that one.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been amazing. He still could have flown the chopper away, just picked it up.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how to fly yet.
Oh, that's true. He's a jumper at this point.
He's still a jumper, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. We're in the early days of Superman.
And before you get to the point where he's actually busting the tables in Canada, it does a cut scene back to young boy Clark.
Yes.
Where he's on the school bus and it goes the classic school bus off the bridge into the water. Why is this a thing?
Because it's like, it really tugs at certain people's heartstrings to see children in peril. And so to see a school bus full of kids go plunging off a bridge, to a lot of people, like, that's their worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, they could have put a bunch of puppies in a pillowcase and chucked it off the bridge and have him jump.
Yeah. And there's, I mean, we get a lot of flashbacks throughout the movie to Clark's Kansas childhood.
Yeah.
And basically, the gist of all of them is it's hard to be a little kid with the burgeoning powers of a sun god.
And yeah, and I actually appreciate that they didn't just start us in a linear fashion with the ship falling into the field and the Kents finding him and just go through his life linear growing up.
Yeah.
I'm glad they went to his adulthood and then have him flash back on meaningful moments like with his dad, because as far as Space Dad versus Earth Dad goes, Kevin Costner, better dad.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Costner is his dad.
His actual dad.
And Jor-El is his sperm donor.
Yeah, pretty much. He's bio dad. But yeah, Kevin Costner, he's a hell of an actor. Like, I've always been a Costner fan, but
Kevin Costner can make me cry. He tears me up a couple times in this movie.
Yeah, really, especially the scene at the bridge, like at the underpass during the tornado.
Yeah,
that's a hardcore scene. But I mean, divers, if you haven't gone and watched Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves in a minute, that's a great movie.
Go back to that. Isn't it interesting that both of his dads played Robin Hood?
That is interesting. Yeah. Costner's a better Robin Hood.
Costner is a better Robin Hood. I've never seen the Russell Crowe Robin Hood movie.
Anyway, so not to belabor the point.
And if we're going to do a tangent right here, I love the scene with him and the logging truck guy.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
Because this guy is a fool. First of all, he's groping a waitress. Don't do that.
Yeah, you're
Second of all, Henry Cavill walks over to him, politely asks him to stop, And this guy gets up. Henry Cavill's a head taller than him and twice as wide.
Yeah.
And tries to start shit with him, like dumps a beer on him and shoves him. And slab of granite we talked about earlier, he doesn't move.
That just wouldn't happen. Like in reality, if you are a dude who's like 5'10", 140, because the dude was slim.
Yeah.
Right? And then a guy who walks up to you, he's like 6'4", 280, and stacked, you would not throw your beer on that guy. There's no way.
Yeah. But this guy's feeling himself. He's got all his buddies there, and he's showing off. And Henry Cavill, he doesn't do anything in the moment, but before he leaves to go investigate this military thing, he just fucks that guy's logging truck all up.
Yeah, it's all like, it's impaled on logs. It's all, it looks so crazy. It's in the air.
Yeah, I just love that scene. That guy's not nearly as shocked enough for what he's witnessing.
Yeah, because, I mean, it was petty. Both of them were petty in that moment, but I liked it. This is a young Superman who's still ornery.
So anyways, let's see. At the Arctic military installation, Clark finds the love of his life in intrepid Daily Planet reporter Lois Lane. And he also finds the secrets of his own origin story in a 2,000-year-old abandoned Kryptonian exploratory vessel. Clark saves Lois from like a cranky robot, and then he flies the vessel off somewhere more remote to learn all about himself from a hologram of his deceased birth father, Jor-El, while Lois starts getting to the mystery of who is this hunky alien that saved her.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, first of all, like when I was in the military, I had a high security clearance, and I was able to go into places just due to my job. I had to brief commanders of things, and I was a meteorologist. If you're curious, divers, I had to go in and brief commanders on the weather for their purpose of dropping indirect fire weaponry. So I had to go to like command centers and give briefs. There's no fucking way that a reporter would be allowed. 0% chance.
Oh, yeah.
None. And so I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, no, they don't let normal military people into stuff like that.
So basically, the way they play that off, right, if I'm remembering, is it was something where the Canadian government or the Canadian Supreme Court gave her passage, and the Americans didn't want her there. But in liberal-ass Canada, this sort of stuff flies.
Still no way. They wouldn't. The Canadian government gives passage to an American reporter for a small newspaper. I guess maybe it's not a small newspaper.
Yeah, I think you get the impression the Daily Planet is like one of the top 2 newspapers in Metropolis.
Sure.
Which is one of the biggest made-up cities in the world.
It's Chicago. I mean, it's Chicago and New York. That's Metropolis and
originally, Gotham. Metropolis was based on pre-Depression Detroit.
Okay.
And then when Detroit was the Paris of the Americas or whatever they used to call it.
Wow.
And then all the auto manufacturers kind of pulled out and Detroit went in the hole. Mm-hmm. And then now it's New York or Chicago. But originally it was Detroit when Detroit was nice.
Okay. Because I mean, later in Batman vs Superman, it seems realistic that someone could take a little hopper flight from New York to Chicago, and it wouldn't be like a big deal.
But in this world, they're on the opposite. Like they're on a bay together. Basically.
Yeah. Like, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
You just have to imagine a very different map of America.
They're technically Americans, but Anyway.
Yeah. So unfortunately for the planet Earth, when Clark reactivates the spaceship, it sends out a distress beacon because this is a crash spaceship from an abandoned colonizing effort. And that beacon is received by General Zod, who it turns out he was freed from the Phantom Zone when Krypton blew up. And after 33 years, he's still very keen on genocide.
Yeah, and he never gave up.
Yeah, he's kept this dream. He swore revenge on the son of his enemy, and he's going to get it. So he books it to Earth.
Sort of somewhere in this situation, Clark meets with the hologram of Jor-El, and he learns about his powers, and Jor-El kind of gives a decent explanation as to why Kal-El is super.
Yeah.
In the world, it's the sun, and it's the air, and it's the gravity.
Yeah.
And he does this really cool training montage where he actually figures out how to fly.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. I thought it was really good.
It's good. It's something, for whatever reason, something I always kind of look at in superhero movies is how they demonstrate the power levels of the different characters. Because it's something like, I guess it comes from the role-playing games. Like I used to study like the Marvel role-playing game and the DC role-playing
With
game.
The tables.
Yeah,
and stuff.
and kind of like, and all of this stuff is very set in stone, like how powerful Superman is and how powerful someone like a Batman is, who's like what do they call, like the peak physical performance of a human that engages in his level of physical activity, which is like an Olympian athlete. And all this stuff is measured. And so we get to see Superman figure out how to Superman.
Yeah, and I really liked that. And I mean, and as you were alluding to, like Zod is coming to the world, but when this happens, or before this actually happens, before Zod gets there, we have the Mr. Kent death scene.
Oof.
And it's just super. It's a gut punch.
It is. I don't like it. It's one of the scenes where like I don't quite buy it. Like, not that I don't buy how it's acted, because I think Henry Cavill and Kevin Costner act the shit out of it. I don't buy that Clark wouldn't have saved his dad.
Yeah, his dad is like, no, don't use your superpowers to save me, because we got to keep it under wraps. And so Clark has to let him die to the tornado, and it's just like,
because there's all these witnesses there that would see him.
I don't know if I think Clark would have just done it. He would have just
done it and suffered his dad being mad at him.
Yep.
I do think that too. But the thing that I think is really important about this scene is it shows what kind of person Jonathan Kent was. Because even though, like, he tells Clark when in the aftermath of the school bus scene, when he saves his classmates and people, some of the kids see him push the school bus out of the water. And he says, was I supposed to let them die? And his dad is like, yeah, maybe you should have let them die. But that's not what Jonathan Kent would do, because tornado is coming. He sends everybody under the underpass, and he's running towards the tornado
to get a dog.
To get a dog and to make sure everyone's out of their cars. And like, he's someone that would sacrifice himself for the greater good. And that's the message that he imparted onto his son. I think that's the important part of the scene, even if I don't think it would have happened that way.
Yeah, he's basically telling his son that he should be a paladin.
Yeah, he's telling his son to hold himself to a standard that he can't hold him to his own self to, right? Yeah. Like, he couldn't let that school bus drown. He would have, if he had the power, he would have pushed it out too.
Yeah. And then,
and
then I guess it gets to, at that point, the UFO scene where they send the message to the world, like, "Sir, there is one of my people hiding among you. Turn him in," or blah blah blah.
Yeah, they inform the people of Earth that there's a Kryptonian refugee hiding on Earth, and if they turn him over, everything's going to be fine. So just give us the alien, and we won't kill you. And so Clark puts Clark in a tough position. And we get I didn't actually write this in my synopsis, but I like this scene. It's a little on the nose, but where Clark goes to like the preacher in town in Smallville.
I like that, yeah.
And there's, it's very, Zack Snyder, always very particular with his shots. There's a stained glass window, of Jesus in the garden, behind him while he's talking to the pastor. And it's this moment in the Bible right before the Romans take Jesus captive, where he's talking to God about do I really have to do this? Do I really have to sacrifice myself? And that's what Clark's doing. He's talking to this priest and he's asking, what am I supposed to do here?
And so that's why Zack Snyder's the greatest filmmaker.
That's why he's the greatest filmmaker of all time. Exactly.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this surrender scene where he walks up and they put him in handcuffs and they're escorting him. It's just fucking silly.
It's hilarious. Yeah, he lets them handcuff him and he gives himself up basically so that the American government can decide what to do. Because he doesn't want to just turn himself in. He wants them to decide to do it.
Sure.
He does it conditionally on the fact that they let Lois go, because they kind of know Lois knows who this guy is, and so they're questioning her, and he wants amnesty for Lois.
And this is sort of a big thing in the movie, is that the American government and the American people, should they have a say in what Superman does and whatnot? And there's they're trying to raise the existential question of do the populace have the right to essentially consent to having this superhero intervening and whatnot. And I don't know, I guess I wasn't raised by Jonathan Kent, because if I were Superman, I would have made the decision myself. I would not have asked the Americans. I would have, because why are the Americans more important than the EU or, China or whatever? China has the most people.
It's because they're from Kansas.
Yeah. So, I would, if I were Superman, if I were Kal-El, I would have just turned myself over to Zod just on my own.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. It's that truth, justice, and the American way. He can't help it. He's a corn-fed Midwest boy deep down to his roots.
Yeah.
And so the right thing to do is to turn himself over to the government.
You said corn-fed. Does Superman have to eat?
I don't know if he has to, but I think
he
does.
Clearly he does in some places, but like when he goes to the ship in the north, the Fortress of Solitude, which they'd never call it that.
Yeah.
There's no food there.
Yeah, I don't think he has. I think he's actually nourished by the sun. Yeah, okay. I don't think he has to eat. I think it's just for fun.
Okay. Damn, if only we could all be photosynthetic.
Or photosynthetic. Is photo...
I don't think that sounds right. Yeah,
it doesn't sound...
It doesn't sound right.
I know what you mean. Yeah, you're on that.
If all of us could just be powered by the sun, that would be dope.
There was... I was talking about this the other day with a friend. There was a moment in the old Lois and Clark TV show where Lois comes over to Clark's apartment, and he's just got out of the shower. You know how this always happens in shows. And
that's Dean Cain.
Dean
right?
Cain, yeah. And Dean Cain's a big hunk of beef too. And so he answers the door in a towel, just looking like a hunk. And she's like, "Whoa. Wow, I didn't know this what you looked like under your nerd suit." And then she looks in his refrigerator, and it's literally like packed with like Hostess Twinkies and just junk food. And she like looks at this man, this slab of marble over there, and is like, "What the fuck?
How is this possible?
How do you? This is what you eat, and that's what you look like." But when you're nourished by Earth's yellow sun, that's what you get to do. You just eat Twinkies all day long.
Damn him. Yeah, so the Zod's crew, it's worth noting, Zod's crew looks really cool.
I thought you'd say that. They're like Sardaukar kind of.
Yeah, they have this grim, dark armor, and they just look fucking sick.
Yeah. No, I love the Kryptonians. I love General Zod, honestly. Like, he's sort of the Killmonger.
Yeah, he is the Killmonger.
Of this, where it's like, you're bad, but I almost root for you in a way, like, because you're very charismatic and you have a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, they turn him over. Lois goes too, because...
Well, why not?
Yeah, because why not? It's not a Superman movie if Lois isn't in danger.
Yeah, exactly.
And right away, it turns out they're planning on doing a genocide no matter what.
Yeah.
They're just trying to figure out So if they need Clark alive to get the codex.
Yeah, Clark was right when he was asking the priest. He was basically like, like this could prevent a loss of life, or they could be lying, and it wouldn't matter. He was right. They were lying.
Yeah, they were lying.
Bad guys are going to be bad.
Yeah, and this is something where this one always kind of bothers me. So the Kryptonians have this thing they call the world engine, which is how they terraform a planet before they colonize it.
Yeah.
Earth is already more habitable, or habitable, yes, to Kryptonians than Krypton even is.
Yeah, it's like a super planet.
It's got lower gravity, cleaner air, a better sun. Like, everything is better about it for Kryptonians. It lets them be super gods. They're going to turn it into Krypton, increase the gravity, fill the atmosphere with particulate, and basically like advance global warming, so that they can be normal people on the planet.
It makes no sense.
It's a dumb plan.
Why didn't they just do it to Mars?
Oh yeah, it's just next door.
Yeah.
And they'd still be gods. They still
get
the yellow sun.
Like, why don't they just do it to a different planet? I don't get why they have to choose this one.
Why not? Why conquer a planet and destroy everything on it when you could just live in the buildings and all of the things that are already built there?
Or if you're thinking like Zod, why not just subjugate them?
Yeah, totally. That seems...
Just make them your bitches.
That seems like the better plan. But Zod has... Go back to this tanky mentality that I say Zod has. Zod has when your only tool is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail mentality.
Exactly. That's true.
When Kryptonians come to a new planet, they set up the world engine. This is what they do. He has a focus on his plan, and he can't adapt it to this new reality. Actually, Earth is better. We don't need to use the world engine. He's like, but that's what we do.
But I have a world engine.
I have a world engine. Why did I bring it across space to not destroy the planet?
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense from his twisted point of view. When they released the world engine and it just starts fucking shit up, it reminded me of like the Avengers. How it just fucks the whole place. And
giant trash circle in the sky.
Everything. Yeah.
This is unfortunately this is I put it on the very first giant trash circle in the sky is Ghostbusters.
Oh, no.
I am not aware of one before that. So basically, the giant trash circle in the sky is the end of every superhero movie. There's a beam of light that's going straight up, and there's a giant circle of trash that is circling around it. And at some point, it's going to destroy the world if our hero doesn't do something. And Superman, it's got a trash circle in the sky too. They couldn't get away from it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Zack Snyder's genius.
So anyways, they come up with a plan. Or Superman and Lois escape with the help of the Jor-El hologram, right? Mm-hmm. They come up with a plan that if they take Superman's baby pod and blast it into the world engine, that it'll fuck up the world engine system.
Because it also has a void drive.
Yeah.
Or Phantom drive? I think it's
Phantom drive. Yeah, it's Phantom drive. So it uses... Because the Phantom Zone is like a black hole. And so that's how they're able to
Sounds so 1950s.
Yeah, or 30s.
30s,
yeah. That's how they're able to do their interstellar travel, is by using wormholes. So that's actually pretty good science.
Exactly. It makes sense. And then the thing that really makes a ton of sense is that they get his baby basket on the ship,
his little Moses basket,
on a military bomber, and they're gonna take it in, and it's got, there's a general in command and there's a colonel on the ground, and if you know anything about the military, colonels do not do work. That's just not a thing.
Okay.
And so that didn't make sense, but whatever, it's a military, it's a movie, just let it go. But also, if you know anything about the military, military people love taking civilians places. There's literally no contempt for civilians among the military, and they love them and prefer them to be around everywhere, particularly the press.
So that's why they bring
Lois
a
on
reporter,
the super ship.
A reporter and a civilian scientist both on the ship.
Yes, that's why, because they love civilians, particularly people who are subject matter experts that can trump them on topics, and people whose job is to be a professional tattletale. That's what military guys like.
I'm glad that you were able to give us that perspective
Yeah.
and show us how realistic that all was.
Yeah, this movie was basically a documentary.
Yeah, exactly. I felt that same way.
And I just sit I like slap myself in the head, and I'm just like, why the fuck is Lois on the bomber? She wouldn't be on the bomber. Like, they wouldn't let her on the bomber. They would be like, fuck off.
But basically, it's kind of been seeded, if we were going to use the rationale of the movie, it's been seeded up until this point that Lois sort of has the respect of the military people because she does this like embedded reporting stuff. Mm-hmm. And backstory, like if you're a deep nerd, Lois's dad is like a master general.
A master general?
I don't know.
Is that like
Isn't that a 4-star general? What's
that's 4-star general is general.
So, okay.
3-star is major general.
Okay, major general.
No, I'm sorry. So here's how they teach it to basic training recruits.
Okay.
There's 4 stars, they call it. They say, be my little general.
Okay.
So it's B is brigadier.
Okay.
My is major. Little is lieutenant general. And then G, general. So it's brigadier, major, lieutenant, and then general.
Okay, so major. That's probably what I meant to say instead of master. Yeah.
That would be great if there was a master general.
Yeah. That's what I thought
the
the
out
force...
in like a gimp suit. I'm the master general.
The master general wouldn't wear a gimp suit.
Oh, you're right,
He'd wear one of those like captain's hats.
Yeah, that's true. He'd have a riding crop. Exactly. He'd be like hitting the colonels.
The gimp generals. Anyways, Lois's dad is an army general, and she kind of knows her way around military people. Sure. And so...
Is anybody a deep Superman nerd nowadays?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. It's not that cool of a character.
Friend of the show and early diver Ted is definitely a big Superman fan. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, going into this movie, I was a big thumbs down on Superman. Coming out of Man of Steel, I like Superman.
Yeah. There's certain...
This is better than any of the Christopher Reeves movies.
Well, actually, let's save that. Because I do want to talk about the Dick Donner, Christopher Reeves Superman when we get...
Imagine if your name was Dick Donger.
Not Dick Donger. Dick Donner, Donner, like the Nevadan cannibals. Okay, so anyways, the plan works. They shoot the baby basket into the world engine. It destroys the world engine, and Zod is pissed. Basically, we've got two...
He's like, you broke my pointless weapon.
Exactly. We've got 2 Kryptonians left, Superman and Zod, and they have...
Yeah, but you skipped over the dope fucking fight between Superman and Speedy Lady and Strong Guy. I don't even know their names.
Feora and Non.
I'm going to just say Speedy Lady and Strong Guy. I like them both. They're very cool. Strong Guy basically does all the Hulk moves. But I like Speedy Lady way better. Her fights, probably the best fights in the thing. She's awesome.
I really like... I mean, I don't know that that actress has done a ton of other stuff. I really like her. Like, this is not a podcast where we objectify women, but she pushes my buttons for sure.
Yeah, she's awesome. Like, she looks great in the armor, and she fights really well, and the acting is super on point.
Yeah, and I love... She has some moments with the general also where they're like gonna knife fight each other, and it's badass.
That shit is dope. And I thought to myself, you know, if you're gonna die, best in a knife fight with an alien.
A good death is its own reward. That's what she said.
That is. And I just thought to myself, like, yeah, I guess if you're that dude and you're pulling out your holdout blade because you're out of bullets, etc., just, do it. I
really like that moment for a couple of reasons. And the actress, I'll probably mess this up. It's a Scandinavian name. Antje Trau is her name.
Okay.
And she's playing Feora Uhl. Anyways, he, like you said, he's shooting her with his long gun. Then he goes to his sidearm, unloads, no effect, pulls out the knife. and he's going to fight her, and she gets out her knife.
She pulls out her knife.
And I was like, respect. Like, she was like, all right,
you're just broke his neck with her hands, but instead, she's going to honor him with a knife fight.
Yeah, she's like, you're a soldier, I'm a soldier. We'll do this thing. I'm going to kill you, but
it's like, I'm actually impervious to that blade.
Yeah. I'll give you the pretense of dying with honor.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was a cool
and
warrior on warrior scene.
And he does get to kill her too.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah. So respect. I agree. I like that scene too. It was cut from my synopsis for time, not because I didn't appreciate it.
It was one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the fight between him and Superman and those two Kryptonian soldiers. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really rad. And we knew that he was going to fight Zod, of course.
Yeah.
But.
And these are all, we should say these three characters are from the Dick Donner Superman movies. They're from Superman 2.
They're the same characters.
Yeah. And they've just been updated for the new millennium and made more badass.
Like, yeah, they have power armor and stuff.
instead of just being a big mute guy, Non
is a
CGI character now.
Yeah, I didn't think he was very. I would have liked to have seen a human face.
Since he's just a CG character, they could have even put the face of that guy from the 80s.
That would have been cool.
The mask comes off and it's that weird.
Why didn't they get the guy from Game of Thrones? Like, get the Mountain to play that guy.
Ooh, Half-Thor Bjornsson.
That would have been cool. Like, I would have been like, yeah, fuck him up, Mountain.
And that is a good fight. I love that whole fight. They destroy Smallville.
Oh, Smallville got thrashed. Like, and I loved it when he attacks him with the train engine.
Mm-hmm. And they that's the moment when the American military decides to side with Superman, because
he comes out of the thing and they all lower their rifles.
Yeah, this man is not our enemy.
Yeah. I like been evident. He's literally an American.
Yeah, it's like, is it the guys in the stormtrooper suits, or is it the guy in the red, white, and blue outfit that speaks English with an American accent?
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever. So Zod's pissed. Him and Superman finally have their big battle. He gets his cool. I love his zinger when he's like, I've trained my whole life to study my senses. He's, where did you train? On a farm? And he's just so indignant to be fighting this farm boy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a classic, kind of a David and Goliath.
Yeah,
thing.
And so they just essentially level Metropolis with this fight, and probably parts of Gotham too, because they're zipping all over the place. And ultimately, it's sort of a stalemate, and we get down to this point where Zod won't stop, and he forces Clark to kill him. It's the only, because he makes it clear, I'll never stop. And so Clark breaks his neck and feels some type of way about it. He's not happy to be the last Kryptonian.
Yeah, I mean, he felt worse about killing that guy than the other ones.
Yeah. Well,
Which is weird.
And I think he's a real tangible connection to his father.
That's true. He was his father's kind of buddy,
sort
of. And then, it sort of has this ending scene where, Clark he decides to be get a regular job. He's like, I'm gonna get a job where I can head toward danger and no one thinks it's weird and whatnot. And then he goes and he gets a job at the Daily Planet, and then Lois, of course, knows who he is. She says, "Welcome to the planet," which is a pretty cool little alien line,
I think it's cute. I think he looks cute with his Harry Potter glasses. I think you're like, oh, he's still this big hunk of granite, but he looks like a nerd, and I like that.
It's kind of weird, since it's set in the modern day, obviously, there's no chance that facial recognition software wouldn't have found exactly who he was and all of that. The U.S. military would know exactly.
Yeah, because there's a moment where, just before this, where he smashes this spy drone that's trying to spy on him, and he has a little talk with the
I know
colonel.
You're trying to find out where I hang my cape.
Yeah, I like that too, because it's a really good corny Superman line.
Yeah,
and he doesn't get enough of those. of that, because you said Superman's like the ultra powerful Boy Scout. He doesn't get enough chances to be the Boy Scout, and that's
true.
That's a very corny Boy Scouty kind of dialogue.
It is. So I mean, that kind of ends the movie, and I really liked it. I had a good time, and when I was done watching this movie, I thought to myself, like, man, I like Superman. I think I identify with this guy, how he's a real dude who is facing some difficult problems, like some existential crises, you know, like trying to figure out like the morality of what he does. Like, if he can't save everybody, who does he save? Like, he's, and obviously the question of collateral damage comes up big time. It's the whole point of the next movie.
Yeah. I think both of those things that you just brought up are the point of the next movie. Because anytime you can't save everyone. So when you choose, I'm going to go here and save these people, you are also choosing to not save someone else.
Yes.
And so that when you have that level of power, that is the question. How do you prioritize the whole world?
Yeah, you don't. You can't.
Yeah, you just do what you can do.
Like, yeah, I think so. and so I think, I don't want to get too much into the next movie because I have a lot of thoughts about it.
For sure.
And also, the next movie's 3 fucking hours long. So this will be a long podcast. But anyway, this Man of Steel movie, pretty darn good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And like I said, I had completely forgotten how much I like it. Like, rewatching it, and I was like, oh man, I love the way Zack Snyder shoots movies. I think they're gorgeous. I like Henry Cavill a lot. I think he's just infinitely charming, and he's a really good like front man for a movie. He's a great lead actor.
Yeah, he's really great. I mean, that's why The Witcher is so good.
Amy Adams is a super competent Lois. Like, a lot of times Lois,
she's killer.
They just portray Lois as being like, she's a bitch and she gets thrown off buildings. Like, those are kind of the two traits of Lois Lane. And it's like, no, Lois Lane is a Pulitzer Prize winning reporter, and it took her all of like 30 minutes to figure out who Superman was.
Yeah.
Like, she was through his like secret identity, followed his breadcrumbs back to Kansas like that.
Yeah, just found his mom. She's much smarter than Clark.
Yeah. Clark thinks he's very clever. And
his mom is smarter than he is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Ma Kent, who's that? Diane Lane playing Ma Kent. She's a great, like, if you've ever like known those sort of like farm bred older gals, tough broads, she's perfect.
Yeah, and she actually gets more screen time in the next movie.
Yeah,
because she's the only parent and really Superman's sounding board, like his moral compass.
Yeah,
and so she does a great job. That actress really killed it.
And she's holding on this farm by herself at this point.
Yeah, I don't know why she doesn't just like move somewhere nice and stop farming.
Because she's just always lived in Smallville.
Yeah,
she's a Smallville gal.
Yeah, I guess some people just like where they are. They don't want to go to Hawaii or whatever.
Right? Your son could fly you anywhere in the world. She likes Smallville.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, also, like, why aren't they super rich? Superman can certainly, like, get some ducats, right? Like, if you were Superman, would you have, like, an endorsement deal? Like, would you have Nike make your boots so you could get some?
That's not how Jonathan Kent raised him.
But how does Superman get money though? His
as
job
a
at the
reporter.
Daily Planet?
Yeah,
because he's a low dog at the Daily Planet.
He is. I mean, he coat rides on Lois is what he does. Maybe
you go to like dictator's place and just like steal their gold reserves.
Oh man, that'd be so awesome when you showed up with gold bars that have like the whatever made up Middle Eastern country,
or North Korean gold or whatever.
Yeah.
And you just bring them to the U.S. government. You're like,
listen. You could like just melt like heat vision. Take the little swastika off of it or whatever. I feel like these are just gold bars.
Yeah, just you show up at a pawn shop.
You get one of those places that says cash for gold.
Yeah. I have bars.
Not suspicious at all.
No.
So
dude, he has X-ray vision. He could literally go like gold panning or whatever. And
he could
just become like a miner. Just
hey,
make it legit.
We're just writing. we're writing the very boring Superman video game.
It's an open world. You have to earn your money, so you go out and you X-ray for precious metals.
Yeah,
people would play that.
Oh, a certain type of person would play that movie or play that game.
That's true.
So usually you ask me, but I'll ask you. Like, what worked for you? What's the highlight of this movie for you?
Henry Cavill is the highlight of the movie. Superman himself. He did an amazing job. The plot, the idea that he came here and then Zod chased him down. It's a decent plot. There were a lot of it wasn't new, it wasn't fresh.
It's mythological. It's ancient.
Yeah, this stuff. None of it is fresh. It's all kind of, this is the monomyth. He's the. It's just all classic stuff, and it all really worked. But what made it charming was the actual acting, like the parents, Kent, Lois Lane, Zod. Like the acting was really good. I thought the portrayals were excellent, and that really worked for me. I thought the acting was good.
Totally. I recently heard someone say a good movie is two sides of the same argument, and you're not going to side with Zod, but he makes the best case for his argument that he could. I think Michael Shannon's a really strong actor, and I love the way he plays Zod. I love the whole cast.
You understand why he's doing it. Mm-hmm. He thinks he's some sort of super patriot.
Yeah.
Really, he's an asshole. But, he thinks he's a super patriot. He thinks humans are less than nothing, and he thinks that Kal-El is an abomination that never should have been born, who was instilled with stolen knowledge.
Yeah.
So he's nothing more than a fugitive in possession of something he shouldn't have.
And I honestly, I think he's conflicted about it. I think he's conflicted. He said, there's a line where he says that he's haunted every day by killing Jor-El. Mm-hmm. I think he has anger management problems. And he killed Jor-El, who it seems like Jor-El's the only person in the whole world he respects.
He definitely doesn't respect all those old bastards on the council.
Oh no, he's gonna exterminate their bloodlines. He's like, they have corrupted bloodlines. We'll just wipe them out. So yeah, we never talked about it. The Kryptonian Codex, that all the genetic information of the whole Kryptonian race is held in a chimpanzee skull with glyphs all over it.
I noticed that I wrote in my notes, it's okay, so Jor-El breaks into the Matrix baby farm in order to steal a random chimp skull that has been bedazzled with runes.
Yeah, because I think it basically is, you're supposed to think that this is the original Kryptonian.
Sure.
This is the whatever their Homo habilis or whatever of the planet Krypton. And yeah, it's covered in these Kryptonian glyphs. And just for the sake of ceremony, they have encoded all of their genetic information into this thing.
Yeah, it definitely seems symbolic.
It's a religious artifact because he says it's sacrilege or whatever that he steals it. Mm-hmm. And then when he downloads it into Kal-El, that's double sacrilege.
Yeah,
and you boned your wife? Triple sacrilege.
How dare you? Yeah, this is a fairly typical, this is a scientist versus a zealot. Mm-hmm. That's, an old argument. All right, so we should probably move on into BVS Age of Justice.
What didn't work?
Oh, what didn't work?
What's the?
I kind of did almost a combined what didn't work, what worked, what didn't work for both movies. But as far as what didn't work for this movie, I would say that I think Zack Snyder leaned a little too heavily on tropes. I felt like the the bus going into the river and him pulling it out. I felt like the kid pushing young Clark down and taunting him into fighting him, and that's literally just a younger version of the guy in the bar trying to pick a fight with him. And it's like,
and then finish your thought, but
I was just gonna say he leans very heavily on old tropes that have been well established in Superman canon.
I think there's sort of an interesting thing in that his bullies all kind of come around to him. So he has the ginger-headed bully that he saves in the school bus thing, who ends up being the manager at the IHOP in Smallville because there's no jobs there. And then I very much got the impression that the priest was one of his other childhood bullies. So it's like, I don't know, like he does give the bully, like he does something with it.
I mean, you can say that, but at a certain point, this was an over 2 hour movie long, 2 hour long movie.
Yeah,
there were too many moments of tropes.
Yeah,
because at a certain point, the audience is simply like, I get it.
Yeah, because I think I kind of thought, because there's a moment when he escapes from the Kryptonian ship and he does the full Jesus Christ pose as he falls backwards out of the ship.
Yeah.
And it's like, we get it. He's Jesus.
Yeah.
I get it.
Like, we understand that
you already showed me him under a stained glass window with a picture of Jesus on it, having his moment of doubt. Like Jesus is in the picture. Like, you showed it to me already.
Yeah, so that was the thing that didn't work, is that it was very heavy-handed. I would have really liked a little more subtlety with regard to that, and they could have probably cut 20 minutes off this movie.
For sure. I don't disagree with any of that.
So what worked for you particularly well?
I think I've already said the cast is just stellar. I love everybody in this movie.
They had money.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like, this is a very, like, lush. And lush is not the right word because it's dark. But it's a very expensive looking movie. Like, you're like, really this movie looks good. Like, you know, like sometimes the digital effects in Marvel movies and Star Wars movies even look like a little, like, corners are cut.
Sure.
No corners are cut in this movie.
No,
they spent all the money.
Man of Steel looked really good. So what didn't work for you then?
You know, I bump up against that moment when he lets Jonathan Kent die. I just, like, I have a really hard time believing that he would do that. Of all these things, like, I will believe a man can fly. I have a hard time believing a flying man would let his dad die right in front of him. Like, that thing that I bump up against. And the fact that Zod is so hell-bent on terraforming Earth, even though Earth is not only habitable to Kryptonians, but well habitable to Kryptonians.
Yeah, it's better.
It's better than Krypton. It's like better air, better sun, better everything. Why would you make it worse?
Those things don't make sense. So yeah, that makes sense. Did you want to rate this movie?
As we go? Let's do it at the end.
Okay.
Let's take a break, and then we'll come back with our synopsis of BVS.
All right, sounds good.
All right, welcome back, divers. Dave and I are on beer 2. We have Super Glow from Great Notion. It's a Imperial IPA, 8.2 ABV, no IBUs listed. It's got a cool Jedi rabbit on the can. I don't know what his deal is, but it said super in the name, so I felt like it fit thematically.
He looks kind of like a yogi or something. But this beer is actually a lot smoother than the last one. This is a lot more drinkable, even though it's got higher ABV.
Yeah, I didn't want to start with this one because a lot of times I pound a double IPA at the start of a podcast session, and I can get a little rambly because of
punchy.
it. Yeah. So I thought now we need it because we're about to dive into Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition.
Yes. And I want to just start this off, divers, with an apology. I want to tell you this was Nick's idea, and I take no credit, and I shift all blame.
That's fair. I'll take that. And I think I told you this is a long movie. It's not a good movie, but I think it's interesting.
Okay.
And I stand by that.
I would say that there was, for a 3-hour movie, there was about an hour worth of stuff I enjoyed.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think we're on the same track. So I'm going to do what we did last time. I'm going to try and succinctly surmise this movie for you. Dave's going to jump in, and let's just get right down to it.
Sounds good.
So we open. It's the funeral of Thomas and Martha Wayne. This is maybe the 11th time this has been portrayed on screen.
Yeah, that was my...
If you're counting animation.
My literal first note was, oh, great, another Batman origin. Just exactly what we need. Another retread of the same shit.
Yeah, they could have skipped it. But for reasons we'll find out later, it is very important we hear the name Martha spoken out loud.
Super important.
Yes. And then we get... a scene I think is really cool. We get the battle of Superman versus Zod from the man on the ground, Bruce Wayne point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this scene. Bruce Wayne he's choppers into Gotham from backwards. Choppers into Metropolis from Gotham, gets in a matte black Jeep Renegade because it's Bruce Wayne. Does it come in black? Yes.
Yeah, so here's the idea. It's like, hold on a second, guys. I'm a billionaire and I get to choose my rig. So I'm going to choose Jeep's compact shit box, their cheapest thing that they are willing to put the Jeep name on.
It's actually
I'm
a
gonna
Fiat.
drive it around. It's fucking trash. Seriously, Bruce Wayne would not drive a Jeep Renegade. That stuck out to me as a car fan. It's like, at least give him a Wrangler, guys.
How much? Because this is right when the Renegade came out. How much do you think Jeep paid to be the car Bruce Wayne drives in?
At least $500,000.
Oh, I bet it was more.
Probably more, but I'd say at least $500,000.
Yeah.
Because it should have been a Wrangler.
But this is a pretty good Jeep Renegade commercial.
I mean, as far as Jeep Renegades go, this one is like teched out and doing things a Jeep Renegade can't do.
Right? Yeah. But anyways, I love this scene. I love seeing this whole thing from the point of view of Bruce Wayne. And it really, a lot of the criticism leveled towards Man of Steel was how it didn't really address collateral damage. This really brings it into sharp focus. And
I don't actually care about collateral damage as a fan. And also, I wanted to say this is my first experience with Batfleck, as they say.
Yeah.
I had never seen Ben Affleck in this role.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually thought he was a pretty convincing Bruce Wayne. He did a good job.
The thing I really like, and I'm not the first person to make this observation. I think I'm stealing it from Kevin Smith. But in the situation where everyone is running away, Bruce Wayne is the guy that's running towards the thing.
Sure.
Because that's who Batman is, right? Like, everyone else is fleeing. Batman, even though it's totally above his pay grade, is running right into the middle of this disaster.
Yeah.
And it establishes something very important. Bruce Wayne doesn't like godlike space aliens.
No, he's definitely against Superman. He thinks that this guy's, doing unnecessary damage.
Yeah. And then the movie just starts jumping around. We're going to go to a lot of locations. We go to India and we see someone salvaging kryptonite from the world engine that Superman destroyed. Yes. We go to Lois and she's in a made-up country in Africa interviewing some warlord. It goes really bad and Superman has to bail her out.
It's just a very token terrorist moment.
Mm-hmm. It does something important there in that Jimmy Olsen who is a Superman standard character, gets whacked in the first 15 minutes of this movie.
Okay.
So that really like tells you something about the tone of the movie. Jimmy Olsen's dead. Find out later Robin is dead. Like,
damn.
Everyone, like all the sort of like the cute characters of the mythos, they're dead. Zack Snyder.
Which Robin?
So Zack Snyder says that there was only one Robin in his world, so it's Dick Grayson that's dead.
I call bullshit. Should not kill Dick Grayson.
I know. If for no other reason, that makes it so you can't do a Nightwing movie.
Exactly. I like Nightwing.
Bad business. Jason. All right. This Nick and Dave canon is Jason Todd died like he's supposed to.
Exactly.
And Dick Grayson's still alive.
All right. That's official now.
Yeah. We have a Senate hearing in DC where they're having hearings about Batman or about Superman. Who's Superman accountable to and who authorizes Superman to do the stuff that he does?
Yeah, they're just politicians talking about stuff they can't control. You know, like they do.
Like they do. Senate hearings are just theater. It's kayfabe, baby. It's like wrestling.
Exactly.
And then we have a cool scene of Batman torturing a human trafficker. And I love that shit.
Me too. Like, Batman is grim as fuck. Like, I like how dark and sinister he is. So at this point in the movie, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, this feels like it's jumping around to random shit, and I hope it's building to something. But one thing I like for sure is I like Affleck's Batman.
Yeah.
I think he does a good Bruce Wayne. He does great Batman. He's really sinister. He brands the guy. He's fucking gnarly. Like, I like how he just fucks people up. And he uses guns. Like, yeah. I mean, I like Batman.
Let's talk about the branding. What do you think the point of it is? Because I have a theory and I want to know what yours is.
What do you mean? What's the question?
Why does Batman brand people that he's...
Why does he brand people? I think he's just trying to it's like in a feral cat colony how they clip the ears.
Yes.
It's exactly like that.
That's what I think too. I don't think he's like marking them for someone else. I think that's personally. So if he's fucking up somebody and questioning them, he pulls open their shirt and they already have a bat brand,
just kill him.
Yeah, this is... I've already told you once, and I'm not going to tell you again. That's what I think the brand means.
Yeah, I agree. He's basically just hitting. It's like, okay, this is your one warning. You'll live through this.
Mm-hmm. And I like that scene. It's almost straight out of The Dark Knight Returns. Zack Snyder has made no bones about he wanted to do an adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns, and unfortunately for him, Chris Nolan already took all the big beats from that story and did The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
So this is Zack Snyder. He's eaten the scraps Chris Nolan left behind a little bit in this movie.
Man, those Nolan movies are so good, and I think that the Christian Bale Batman, super good.
Yeah. We'll give them their fair justice someday, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. And then we cut to sad Lois taking a bath. She has some feelings about what went down in Africa. But Clark comes in, tells her he's going to cook dinner and gets in the tub with her. And we almost have a nude scene in a Superman and Batman movie here.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, did we skip over that Jeremy Irons is Alfred?
Ooh, I don't specifically mention it, so let's talk about Jeremy Irons' Alfred because he's the shit. He's so good.
Best Alfred ever.
Totally.
He's so good. Like, I was like, whoa, they got Jeremy Irons to do Alfred. He's badass. Like, it's convincing that Alfred could kick your ass.
Yes. I would say it really comes up later when Alfred's piloting the Batwing remotely.
Mm-hmm.
The whole operation hinges on the fact that Bruce Wayne has the most competent butler you could possibly have.
It's like Batman has like another Batman.
Yeah, old Batman. He has a retired Batman back at home.
Basically, I think that Jeremy Irons really just slam dunks this role.
Yeah, so we're on the same side here. At this point, the movie just explodes into
shittiness,
into a myriad.
Yeah, it's explosive diarrhea at this point. It spackles the edges of the bowl.
It's really funny because we're so on board with the movie.
So far, it's good. I'm like, yeah, fuck him up, dude. Like, and your Alfred rules. Like, I'm just like, I'm cheering for this.
Yeah. So it explodes into this myriad of interweaving plot threads. Plot thread 1. Batman is on the trail of something or someone called the White Portuguese. Mm-hmm. Supposedly, the White Portuguese is bringing a dirty bomb into Gotham. Plot point number 2. Lex Luthor wants to get access to the Kryptonian ship, General Zod's body, and he wants permission to import that salvaged chunk of kryptonite we saw earlier.
And can we just agree that this Lex Luthor is dog shit? He's Mark Zuckerberg that giggles too much.
That's the point.
He's the Joker and Mark Zuckerberg. He's terrible. This is a horrible Lex Luthor. He doesn't convince me that he's a genius. He convinces me that he's a rich dick.
That's the point.
He's just a jackass.
So I had literally had this same conversation with Lisa the other night because she hates him.
He's terrible.
Divers, you don't know my lovely wife, Lisa. Dave has known her since high school. Middle school, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why she's the love of my life. She's very opinionated and has strong opinions, and I love that. And she fucking hates Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
He's a bad Lex Luthor.
I think he is the perfect Lex Luthor for his generation.
Man, this is terrible.
So the 80s Lex Luthor...
Just like a shitty millennial.
Yes. The 80s Lex Luthor was...
He's Mark Scully.
Exactly. You're making my case. The 80s idea of Lex Luthor was... And John Byrne, who rebooted Lex in the 80s, would say this, explicitly was based on Donald Trump.
Sure.
That was
like a rich guy with lots of land. And,
yeah.
You know.
That was the 80s Lex Luthor. The teens Lex Luthor is a tech bro. He is Jeff Bezos. He is Mark Zuckerberg. He is Martin Shkreli. You're supposed to hate him. He's fucking horrible.
Yeah, but he just doesn't, like, man, I don't know. I would really have rather had, okay, let's go back to Man of Steel.
Uh-huh.
You can identify with Zod, and you understand what he's up to, and you understand why. This Lex Luthor, you cannot agree or identify with anything he's doing. He is mustache twirling evil. He does not have any, like, there's no sympathy there. They really could have done something where, I don't know, something...
A charming Lex.
Something to where you can at least say, I don't agree with him, but I understand why he's doing it. Exactly like Zod.
Okay.
In this case, he's overblown evil. Like, if I'm running a D&D game and this guy's the villain, people are like, okay, whatever, just kill him. He's a shitbird. If you make a villain identifiable and someone you can at least understand what they're doing or talk to and try to negotiate with, that means you've made a relatable villain.
Yeah.
This is not a relatable villain. He's just horrible.
I don't disagree with anything you just said.
So why'd they do it? It's bad storytelling.
Oh, there's a movie called The Social Network. And in it, this guy played Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, Jesse Eisenberg. I spaced on his name for a second. And I think whether it was probably Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder said, I think in 2010, Lex Luthor is Mark Zuckerberg. Let's get the guy that played Mark Zuckerberg to play Lex Luthor. I think that's all that's the whole thing.
It was like he was playing checkers, not chess.
Hold on, you're talking about the greatest filmmaker of all time.
Yeah. This guy, like this casting, I don't think that the acting was bad because I do believe that this guy, Jesse Eisenberg is, I do believe he can do a serious role.
I think he's just playing.
He's
what
doing
the script says.
Yeah, he's doing what was written. I just think the writing here just shit the bed. It was not good, and this villain, every time he appears in every scene he's in, I just think, God, stop, just be over.
I'm having a hard time disagreeing with you about any of that, Dave.
It's just so bad.
Okay, but anyways, we're getting into all of the plot threads.
Okay.
Number 3, we have a Wayne Enterprise employee that we met earlier in the movie, Wallace. Mm-hmm. He lost his legs in the Battle of Metropolis, and he's getting radicalized. He's not getting his checks, and he's
getting his checks.
No, he isn't.
Later on, they show that he got his fucking checks.
Hold on.
Okay.
He's not getting his checks.
Okay.
He thinks he's been sold out by Bruce Wayne at this point.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He's being set up.
Yeah. We have Clark Kent. He's on the trail of the Bat Vigilante in Gotham. He got sent to Gotham to cover a football game, and Clark Kent went rogue and starts going to the projects to find out about Batman. He's like, I'm Clark Kent, investigative reporter. I don't cover sports. I'm going to the hood and I'm going to see what's happening.
Yeah.
And let's say Batman's not a fan of Clark. Clark's becoming not a fan of Batman. He doesn't like how Batman operates.
So I did a little check-in here in my notes where I basically, I do these from time to time. And I say basically thus far, I'm enjoying the evil Batman arc. Like how Batman is just... He's mad as hell and he does bad shit.
Yeah.
I am not enjoying the whole Batman hates Superman arc. I am enjoying the Clark Kent stuff because I think it's really a continuation of the previous movie. Mm-hmm. That line is going well. And I'm hating the Lex Luthor stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. So let's just pause there for a second. They're not selling us on a Batman, Bruce Wayne, I use this a lot because this is how he's described, the world's greatest detective.
He's terrible.
He's not doing any detective.
Lois Lane's the world's greatest detective.
Lois Lane is a much greater detective. Yes. No. Okay. We're totally on the same page. And that's my plot point number 5. Lois. This whole thing, the thing that went down in Nairobi.
Oh, God.
To be fair to Zack Snyder here, the DC universe is loaded with made-up places that are very close to real places.
Well, also made-up places that are just stupid sounding, like Metropolis and Smallville. That's dumb.
It was the 30s.
Okay.
What are you good? They were writing for children in the Depression. They're just looking at the pictures. They weren't even reading. They were fresh out of like working in like the dog food plant. You know?
Yeah, I mean.
So, anyways, at this point, those are our 5 threads, simultaneous threads we're following.
One thing that they do here, sort of as they have some meta commentary on the whole thing, in the form of like news clips and things like that, and they got Neil deGrasse Tyson to literally like do a full-on explanation of the whole deal
of why Superman is challenging to people's like ideology.
And I just thought to myself, I was like, man, I love listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson explain things. Like, if you go onto his like on YouTube and you look up his interviews and stuff, that dude, he's smart. He can make things understandable.
It's really fun, like, as we talk about how much money they spend on these movies.
Yeah.
When it goes to the news,
it's like real
it's
news
CNN people. With Anderson Cooper. It's not an actor playing a newsman that's similar to Anderson Cooper. The CNN logo is on the screen and Anderson Cooper is narrating. When they want to talk to a scientist, it's not an actor playing a scientist. Yeah. Neil deGrasse Tyson is here. Like,
they don't even need to like intro him. It's just like, it's your favorite scientist. Here you go.
If Zack Snyder had made this movie in the late 70s, early 80s, it would have been Carl Sagan.
Sure.
But this is the teens, and so he's got NDT.
They could have done it 10 or 15 years earlier and had Bill Nye do it.
Yeah, what? If only we had an awesome 90s Superman movie. Okay, so anyways, let's get back to it. So all these plot threads, not all of them, but several of them start to converge. and they converge on a library benefit hosted by Lex Luthor. And so, 50 minutes into the movie, Batman v Superman, 50 minutes into the movie. Dawn of Justice. Ultimate Edition. Yeah. Bruce and Clark meet for the first time.
But also in the same room is Wonder Woman and Lex Luthor.
Yes. I was going to get to die. You think I didn't write down that Wonder Woman was there?
Nah. It's a cameo.
Yeah. So I love this scene. We'll pause for a second. I love Bruce and Clark.
I like when they're talking, yeah.
And the thing I like about this is Bruce Wayne is the mask and Batman is the real person. Superman's the opposite. Clark is the real person. Superman is the persona.
Okay.
And so when the two of them meet, they meet sort of Clark to Bruce Wayne, and then Clark pushes Bruce a little bit, and he turns on Batman. And I love the acting there.
Yeah, it was a really good scene.
Because he's doing the swaggering playboy, and he's eyeballing Diana, and he's like, do I own your newspaper? And he's acting like he's drunk. And then Clark is like, what do you think about the Bat Vigilante in Gotham? And he's like, oh, you're going to talk shit about the Batman? You work for the newspaper that loves Superman. I hate Superman.
Yeah. He's like, how dare you bring up the Bat? Superman? Fuck you.
I have it on good authority. Batman is the best superhero.
He is not a hero.
We're criminals, Alfred. We always have been criminals.
That's absolutely true. And this is a pretty good scene. The only thing that actually kind of kills it for me is, first of all, Lex Luthor. He kills it for me because he sucks. Secondly, the security in the server room, like literally you can just walk in there and put your hacking device up. No big deal.
But here's the thing. And I was gonna get to this a little bit later. Lex is the mastermind of everything. Nothing happens that genius Lex Luthor didn't want to happen.
He wanted the Bat to get this information.
He wants because Lex Luthor is the puppet master. He is trying to make all this shit happen. He wants Batman and Superman to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Lex Luthor's his bodyguard, Mercy Graves, who is like woefully underserved in this movie.
Yeah, in this movie, she's just like a lady who's always around.
Yeah, and she's like, in the comics, she is a super competent, badass cyborg. Like, she's a super badass. Mm-hmm. But she essentially lets Bruce Wayne go and hack the computer. That's on purpose.
All right.
But anyways, all this shit happens. Diana shows up, and that introduces what I call a subplot. So now, on top of trying to figure out what the white Portuguese is for this dirty bomb, quotes, I'm making air quotes, Bruce also wants to find out what's up with Diana Prince because she pushes his buttons. He wants to get a piece of that.
Well, he does get that file. He gets the MetaHumans file.
So we're kind of beating around the bush, but he hooks up his little device to Lex's servers that are just kind of in the wine cellar next to the kitchen, just out where you can get them. And then Wonder Woman steals the thing before Bruce has a chance to go and retrieve it. And then she slips out. But anyways, so like I said, Lex is the puppet master. Everything's happening really fast. Bruce has his nightmare vision. So where he sees the apocalyptic future, and apocalypse is on purpose. He sees a future where Darkseid has conquered the world, and Superman is like a Nazi for Darkseid.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say like these dream sequences, and there was one right at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
and
there's three. There's at least three dream sequences.
The dream sequences are, they're just trash. I hate them. They don't add to the movie. Like I feel like it's so dumb to have Nazi Superman with these stormtroopers that have the red S on their arm, and what were those fucking like insect wing things?
They're parademons.
It was all stupid. Like, I was watching this and I was just thinking to myself, they should have cut this entire scene. This adds nothing to the movie. We already know Bruce Wayne does not like Batman. We know Batman does not like Superman. We know we have the animosity established. We don't need this fantasy land scene. This is why this movie is 3 hours long, because it includes garbage like this.
Do you? Well, I mean, I think I can't argue with anything you just said.
It's just not good to have.
It really disrupts the flow of the movie. It's intended to be this prophetic vision, but if you're not a deep comic book nerd, none of the shit makes sense to you.
I'm definitely not a deep DC nerd enough to care about any of this crap. And I just thought to myself, like, waste my time more. How about that?
And then at the end of that dream, there's a inception. There's a dream within a dream.
Ugh.
The Flash from the future shows up to give a cryptic message to Bruce about Lois Lane. And then Bruce wakes up and he's not sure, is this just one of my normal PTSD nightmares, or was that an important one?
Yeah, because seriously, that Flash cameo in there, I just thought to myself, I was like, this is just setting up for a future movie thing. Like, I assume it'll come to fruition in Justice League or something. But ultimately, it's just crap. It's just like, this is stupid.
It derails the movie.
It's like, why are you doing this? Why are you having time travel? Like, don't do it. Time travel ruins everything. It never goes well.
Okay. Yes. So from here...
Well, I mean, I want to say I have a check in here. I said, and I put it in capitals and italics. I said, another fucking dream sequence. Stupid. Who wrote this trash? Because this is garbage. The writers for this movie are bad. I don't care who it was. I don't care if it was your mother. This is terrible.
What if the writer's name was Martha?
Oh, God. That would be amazing.
Would that change everything?
That would change everything if it was Martha.
Okay, so the writers are David S. Goyer.
Okay.
Who, I mean, he wrote the Dark Knight trilogy.
Then why did he do this?
I don't know. And Chris Terrio, who I just recently heard Chris Terrio was brought in by Ben Affleck personally to punch up the Batman in the script. Because Affleck didn't feel like Batman got enough love, and Chris Terrio was there to raise the Batman quotient.
Okay.
So David Goyer, he's written some good movies.
So how did he write the best and worst Batman movies?
I mean, I don't know. He's after all the medals.
Yeah. He's like, I want first and last. I don't know, because at this point in the movie, I'm not totally checked out.
You're starting to check out.
I'm checking out, but I'm actually more like, because I'm a hater at my core, I'm beginning to become a hater. Like, all I see is stuff I hate, and I'm rarely, from here on in the rest of the movie, there are only a few things that I note that I actually like.
So like I said, Lex is the puppet master. So we have a scene where the White Portuguese shows up in Gotham. It's a ship. It's not a person. And it's not a dirty bomb. It has the big kryptonite meteorite from the World Engine. And Batman's trying to steal it. And Superman, who's, because Clark has gotten kind of cheesed off at Batman. He doesn't like what Batman's doing.
Yeah, because Batman is a bad guy.
So Superman comes in, completely ignores like the truckload of terrorists that Batman is chasing, and decides to have a talk, a man-to-man with Batman. And he stands out there. Batman crashes the Batmobile into Superman, and Superman says, "The Bat's dead. Bury it. The next time they shine your signal in the sky, don't go. Consider this mercy."
And you know, I think at that point he should have used his heat vision and just roasted Batman. Just be like, okay, we're done with it. The Bat is actually dead.
The Bat is actually dead.
Later, and fly away. Because that's what I would have done. If I were Superman, I would have just roasted the Batman, because he's a villain at this point. He's not a hero.
So the way I listened to an interview with Zack Snyder just recently, and what he said is that this Batman has lost track of the difference between vengeance and justice.
Okay.
That's the concept, is that this is a Batman that since the death of Robin, he's off the rails. He's not following his own rules anymore.
I mean, and he gets a little flack from Alfred about it.
Yeah, Alfred loves the zingers, but he doesn't do much to stop him.
Yeah, I mean, because at this point, I'm fully on Team Kal-El. I'm anti Bruce.
Did you ever think that would happen? Because
No, I never thought it even possible. When I think, if you tell me there's a movie called Batman vs. Superman, I'm
and
like...
that you're rooting for Superman?
I would say, I hope Batman curb stomps Superman somehow. Just give him a kryptonite necklace and curb stomp him. That would be what I'd say before seeing this movie. Now, I just want Superman to heat ray Batman to death.
That's amazing. I love it. Okay, so Superman confronts Batman. Lex uses our boy Wally from earlier to sneak a bomb into the Senate hearing. Blows up a Senate hearing while Superman is standing there.
And because it was lined with lead, so Superman couldn't see it.
But Superman, because he's filled with self-doubt at this point, he's really questioning himself. He thinks that he just missed it.
Yeah, he thinks he's slipping.
Yeah, he's like, maybe I just didn't want to see it. I'm so sad. Superman is very sad.
But there's legit no way that a bomb would ever make it into the Senate because they literally use dogs to sniff everything. They would have searched it. They don't let you
They
get
don't
that
search
in.
wheelchairs.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Not in the DC extended universe. They don't.
That's true. I should lower my standards from reality to DC.
Yeah. In DC, a fancy wheelchair just... You get to go around the metal detector.
Yeah, exactly. And the bomb-sniffing dogs at the Capitol don't exist.
And this is actually not in my notes, but I'll just throw it in here because I do think she gets such poor service. Lex just totally serves up Mercy Graves, his major domo, his right hand.
Yeah, like why doesn't he have her leave with him? Like he just lets her get blown up too.
Yeah, Tao Okamoto plays Mercy Graves. And she gets blown up in this Senate hearing. Lame. Lex is a dick.
I just thought to myself, I was like, man, that's like his number one. Like, why is he letting her die? Why didn't he just tell her like, yeah, we're gonna cancel today's appearance. I'm just not feeling it, and then they leave.
Yeah, he goes in. I mean, we've skipped over this because it's really superfluous to the plot. But there's this whole subplot with Lex. Working this senator played by I think Holly Hunter, and this whole thing is there's a jar of piss involved, and it doesn't need to be in the movie. It's just there for Lex to be extra shitty.
Yeah, this movie is 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound hat. It's just garbage, and they tried to fit 1,000 subplots, and they legitimately failed.
Okay, so let's get back onto this. So Batman, Superman's sad. Batman, he just goes to LexCorp and steals the kryptonite,
and he leaves a shuriken batarang stuck in the thing.
Yeah,
to be like, it was me, bitches.
If you're wondering, Lex, I did this, and Lex just goes, excellent, like Mr. Burns. He's like, I wanted you to steal it.
He's like, I literally gave you the information.
So the only competent detective in the whole movie, Lois Lane, she's gotten to the bottom of this. Actually, Lois Lane knows Lex is the one pulling all the strings. Bruce and Clark are just getting puppeted like crazy. Lois is like, actually, it's been Lex Luthor all along.
And Bruce and Clark are too busy like beefing with each other.
Yeah, that whole thing. And Clark, after the Senate hearing blows up, Clark just has a major crisis of faith. And he fucks off to Machu Picchu or something to go walk in the mountains. And he gets visited, I guess, by a Force ghost of Kevin Costner. Or is it a memory? I don't know. But he goes up to a top of like somewhere in like Patagonia and has a little talk with his dad.
Yeah. It's weird like how he's like able to talk to his dad. Like, what's this deal? Like,
so I was thinking about this. And I think I kind of got to the core of what's happening here on the drive over to your house, actually.
Okay.
He's remembering going up on a mountain, like going on a hike with his dad when he was a kid. Mm-hmm. Because Kevin Costner, is reprising his role as Jonathan Kent, tells him this story about how it was like, well, we're men from Kansas. We live on a pancake, so we go to the mountains to find ourselves. And he tells a story about how there was a flood when he was a kid, and they went out there, him and his dad worked till they dropped with a shovel, and they saved their farm, and then found out that the Lane's farm had flooded and all their horses died afterwards. So this whole story is like to give you that the lesson we talked about earlier about like when you choose to save one thing, you're choosing not to save something else.
Sure. And if you're curious, divers, that's an economic concept called opportunity cost.
Is that related to the trolley dilemma where it's like you can pull the lever and the trolley will only kill one person, or you can do nothing and the trolley will kill a crowd of people?
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly that, but opportunity cost, the concept is every time you choose to do something, you're choosing not to do everything else.
Yeah.
So we're choosing to record this podcast, so we're choosing not to do every other option in the entire world. That's the opportunity cost.
We could be out picking up litter on the side of the road right now, but we're giving you this
we
hot
choose
content.
A filthy world.
Totally. So I think that getting to the top of the mountain in Peru, I don't know why it had to be Peru, but getting to the top of the mountain triggered the memory of when he was a kid hiking with his dad and the story that his dad told him. Because the thing that Kevin Costner is saying is presuming they're looking down on Kansas. Because he says this thing about, he's like, yeah, everything from here to the floodplain, blah, blah, blah. And he's not describing what Clark is seeing. He's describing what Jonathan was seeing at the time of the memory.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those scenes that
it
could
didn't
have been
need to be
cut.
here.
It was just like, we understand, dude. You're gonna draw on your father's wisdom in your time of need, and maybe they could have done a flashback to when he was a kid and had his father give him a lesson at that point. I would have actually rather him talk to his mom because she's kind of the constant in this movie.
Yeah.
For Superman. And ultimately, this was just a scene cutter. Like, I mean, there were a lot of, and at this point in the movie, we're like pretty far into it. They should have cut a lot of scenes.
This whole middle hour is a mess.
Like they have a whole scene. Like they take time for Bruce Wayne to be working out. He's doing all this CrossFit stuff, and
It's a good workout, though.
And we're just
his body looks good.
And I just think to myself, how much juice did Affleck do? But it's just like, it's pretty ridiculous. Like, why do we need to see this?
Affleck, I mean, we talk about how much juice Affleck did. His marriage falls apart during this time while he's making this movie. Like, Affleck's real life goes off the rails in the process.
And he just becomes the Bat.
Yeah. Like, he went super dark in this period of time. So how much juice did he do? A lot. He's a guy older than us in that shape. Your testosterone levels, I mean, they're not what they should probably be to look like that. So you gotta supplement on some. I'm sure he's taking a lot of protein shakes. Quote.
Yeah. So I guess my point is here for this middle hour is this middle hour gets boring fast. Yeah. So let's just fast forward to when it gets interesting.
So fast forward. Batman decrypts the stolen files. He forwards them to Diana because she wasn't able to decrypt them. And Lex Luthor kidnaps Lois and Martha Kent. He kidnaps them, and when Superman goes to do something about it, he gives them the ultimatum. Basically, he says, like, kill Batman or kill your mom.
And I just want to throw out there, I think that using Ma Kent and Lois as, quote, token victims is bad storytelling. It's very old school. It flies against the idea of the entire concepts that they built
around
for
those
these
characters.
two characters for two movies, in that they're both really strong, smart, and savvy women. And I don't like that they're just instantly made to be powerless, and they're instantly made to be leverage and tokens against Superman. And I think that the writers could have done a better job in figuring out a way to make Superman actually go against Batman. This is basically lazy writing. This is bad storytelling. This is indicative to me that whoever wrote this scene is old.
I don't think these people are any older than us.
God, is it even possible that a person with any real, like, any relevance or any I guess, in touch with the modern world would choose to use all of the women in his life as token victims?
Okay, so David Goyer, just for perspective, he's about 10 years older than us, born in 65.
So he's in his 50s. So, no, he's like 15 years old.
And Chris Terrio, Affleck's guy, 76. He's He's like 2 years older than me.
Okay, so I mean, Goyer is definitely older, but I don't know. This was just shitty writing, so I'm not even going to call it a generation gap. This was just lazy. It was weak. It trivialized characters that had up to this point been built up to be like strong and interesting and very competent, and at this point, he just pulls the feet out under them and just makes them into nothing. They become objects.
100%. We are in complete agreement on this. I didn't expect this. I thought we were going to have to debate some things, but you've not said anything in this whole thing that I don't agree with.
At this point, so I wrote in my notes, I said, this movie is garbage, and I stopped taking notes. I only finished it for academic purposes. I figured I should finish it because I'm going to talk about it on the podcast. Mm-hmm. But I want to say, Divers, if this were just Dave watching a movie, I'd have turned it off well before this point.
So,
you only have so much time in your life, right? I would rather watch some trashy reality TV than this.
So in preparation for this, I went back and re-listened to the Empire magazine spoiler special for this movie.
Okay.
And one of the critics from Empire magazine talked about how at their screening that they went to, people got up and left the theater early. Not as early as you're checking out, because you're checking out about an hour. There's an hour left of the movie, but in the final moments of the movie, people were just walking out. So you're not alone. The movie has lost most people at this point.
Well, there's no story. There's no cohesive narrative. There's like 4 plot ideas that are slowly independently developing, and none of them are compelling. Not a single one.
Yes. So from here, we get a montage of Diana Prince previewing the slate of upcoming DCEU movies.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to click on the Aquaman file.
Yeah, we get to see Jason Momoa, Blue Steel at the camera. We see Ezra Miller as the Flash, stop a stick-up kid. And we see Cyborg as a disembodied torso hanging on a wall screaming. Yay, I want to see that movie.
Yeah, I was looking at that and I was like, ugh, that's harsh.
Yeah. Cyborg coming 20-something.
Is that its own movie? I thought it was just going to be a Justice League tie-in.
Everyone was supposed to get their own movie. Since then, Ray Fisher has torpedoed his career by trying to get everyone at Warner Brothers fired.
Okay.
We'll discuss that in the next episode.
Gotcha.
And at the 2-hour mark, literally 2 hours into the movie, Batman and Superman finally fight.
Okay.
Batman uses his gadgets to get the upper hand on Superman, and he's about to kill him with his cool kryptonite spear that he made, because the Christ has to get pierced with a spear. we're still going on this Messiah thing.
Can we just say that this whole fight was dumb because from the very beginning when Kal-El decides to fight Superman, like, okay, I guess, or Batman, I guess it's going to be a fight. He could have just heat rayed him from across the whole fucking way and it would be over.
He doesn't want to fight him, though. He's doing his damnedest to not kill this little ant in his suit of armor.
Yeah.
Because if it was just like go over there and kill him, he's like, kill him over there, I can kill him from here. Zap.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever played D&D, like, heat metal is the best spell ever. You just heat up that armor, be like, all right, now what you gonna do, you little ass?
Yeah.
You know? Well, anyway.
So anyways, Batman is about to kill Superman, and the Superman says the magic word. I can't even say it without laughing.
Like, Martha.
You're letting him kill Martha. And, why did you say that name? Batman, the world's greatest detective. I can't say this enough times. The world's greatest detective is absolutely shocked to discover not only does Superman have a mommy, Superman's mommy had the same name as his mommy.
And that made all the difference in the world.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as fast as that. It's so dumb.
Oh, man.
I hate Batman in this movie. Batman is a petulant child.
Oh,
he's
dude.
just such a piece of garbage.
So, Batman and Superman, Lois comes in. Martha's his mother's name. And Batman's just like, oh my God.
It's my mom's name too. Oh my God.
I've been so wrong through this whole movie.
It's a fellow Martha's son. We're like brothers at this point.
That's how he acts. Oh my God. And so they have to both go. One of them has to deal with Lex and one of them has to save Martha. Batman looks Superman dead in the eyes and very seriously promises him, Martha will not die tonight.
He's like, I'm gonna definitely save Martha because I fucked that up before.
Yeah, it wasn't you were 11 when the first Martha died.
You couldn't
it's
save
not your
the
fault.
first Martha.
So,
but why? Yeah.
Superman takes it on his word. Superman goes off to fight Lex. Batman gets in the Batwing, goes off to save Martha. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor is doing Kryptonian necromancy. He's in his own movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Like, he's just in there doing crazy shit.
Yeah. He's cutting his hand. He's become a wizard. Like, he needs Palm's blood. Lex is doing his own thing. He's in a different movie.
Fuck Mark Zuckerberg.
Then we get this amazing scene, my favorite scene in the whole movie, of Batman fighting the goons in the warehouse and saving Martha. For my money, that's the best 7 minutes of Batman that's ever been put on film.
So as I was watching it, I looked over to Carrie, who was a trooper and sat through this with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lisa checked out.
Well, I will say Carrie was reading manga while we were watching it. So I looked over and I was like, why is this in the scene? Why is this in the movie? And she said, so Batman can do things that seem good.
Oh my God. Yes. Because in this 3-hour movie, we've seen so little of Batmaning.
Yeah.
And so you're like, yes, this was the stuff from the commercial. This is what I came to see.
Yeah, Batman, he's good at killing trivial goons.
You give Batman a warehouse full of guys and he will torture them in interesting ways very fast. That's his biz. And Alfred is just like helping from the outside. Alfred's piloting the Batwing, and Batman is just fucking up all of these goons. The guy that's supposed to be flamethrowing Martha Kent, he's just waiting to see what happens. He hasn't heard about the Batman, apparently, and knows if I'm going to barbecue this old lady, I should do it now. He waits for Batman to come in.
Because they're different. Lex says she has to be burned because she is a witch. She birthed a monster.
Yeah. Whatever.
She didn't birth him.
Whatever. I love this scene.
Do you?
I do.
I thought it was lame.
I watch it over and over. This is like the piece of the movie that I've watched 100 times.
This movie would have been better without Batman.
If it was just a Man of Steel sequel.
Just a sequel to Man of Steel where he goes against Lex Luthor. That would have been better.
Stop writing a better movie, and we'll keep talking about this one. So let's cut over to Superman and Lex. Superman goes to confront Lex. Lex has gone cuckoo bonkers.
Yeah, and he's using this like egg timer. He's like, time's up.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm the richest guy in the world, and I don't even have a fucking Apple Watch. Whatever.
It would be a Lex watch, an L watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So Superman gets there. Lex tells him this whole thing about, I don't know how to lose. And he's like, you'll learn. And it's like, okay, wait, this is kind of a Superman movie. Doomsday. Doomsday shows up.
Well, I mean, because you can only have so many climaxes, you need more.
Right. So Doomsday hatches out of this Kryptonian Genesis pod. Doomsday looks like the Hulk had a baby with a cave troll from Lord of the Rings.
Exactly. And so basically he is Zod, who is necromancy.
Lex used Zod's body to do necromancy, and he made a Doomsday. And then Doomsday, he comes out, slaps Superman around, and then he jumps up to the top of Lex Corp Tower and does a King Kong impression.
Yeah, so if you're not sure, like if you've never seen this and you're trying to imagine Doomsday, think of a cave troll from Lord of the Rings plus the Hulk plus King Kong.
Yep.
That's Doomsday.
That's Doomsday.
Not at all interesting.
Nope. He's just a CG lumpy.
He's just a big, dark, blackish, oily skinned looking thing.
He's got a naked butt but no dick. I mean, not that I wanted his dick swinging around, but they show the crotch, and it's like, just nothing
He's
there.
a Ken doll.
Did Zod have a dick? Did the dick go away?
That didn't even cross my mind, but I did indeed think of this as a troll.
It wouldn't have crossed my mind except for they show his butt. And it's like, and then he turns around, no dick.
And he kind of sticks it out like...
Yeah, because he does like a King Kong roar in the sky thing. Okay, anyways, we're getting off track.
We've been off track. Superman shows back up. He flies Doomsday up into space, into orbit, into safe space. Whatever the magic point where you can detonate a nuclear warhead without harming the people on the Earth, that's exactly where they got to. Yeah, because that's not a thing.
Because it's not a thing. A place where you can see the bomb blow up, witness the fallout, but not be affected by the radiation.
Not have radiation enter the upper atmosphere and literally poison all of Earth.
Yeah, that's the place where this all happened.
Exactly.
The Colonel from the last movie, he's important. He doesn't want to do this, but the president, whoever the president is, I guess it's still Obama.
Thanks, Obama. You taxed Superman.
You nuked Superman. Yeah. The president does not hesitate to blow up Superman. Like, he doesn't even think twice.
Dude, they got nuclear authorization in the scope of like 9 minutes. That does not.
Well, he had the president on speakerphone.
That's
He's like, Mr. President, Superman's there. The president's like, God have mercy on our soul. Blow up Superman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They nuke Superman. Doomsday.
Doomsday crashes back down. Doomsday's fine. Nukes don't hurt him. He actually gets stronger. He grows a bunch of the bone shit, so he starts looking like Doomsday from the comics.
If you're a D&D player, he becomes a dire Doomsday. Bone spurs and armor plates.
Batman saved Martha, like he said. He's coming to deal with Doomsday. He immediately sees this is kind of above his level, but he's stuck dealing with it.
Yeah, Batman's like, well, shit. There's literally nothing I could do because I couldn't even handle Superman.
Yes. So, but he gets the bright idea. I'll lure him from this uninhabited island in the bay back to Gotham, the city I'm protecting, because that's where I left the spear that I was going to use to kill Superman. And then I'll kill Doomsday with it.
I just thought to myself, it's like, you have the Batjet. Why don't you fly over, get the spear, and come on back?
Yeah, I mean, really, we don't know that Doomsday would have left this island. We've got some islands like that around Portland. There's a lot of them like that up in the Seattle area, right?
Yeah.
These sort of uninhabited islands that are close to an urban area. They got a lot of trees on them. No one lives there. Maybe Doomsday would have just sat down, chilled out.
Instead, he lures him to the city.
He lures him to Gotham City, the city he has dedicated his life to protecting, to get the monster closer to the spear rather than getting the spear to take it to the monster.
Exactly. Makes perfect sense.
Doomsday, unstoppable monster that he is, takes down the Batjet. Batman's about to die. And then finally, Wonder Woman shows up. Just in time to save Batman, but not in time to save this movie.
Yeah, oh, God. They should not have had her in this movie.
She's the best part of the movie.
Superman's the best part of the movie. And I don't think... And I have no hate for Wonder Woman. In fact, I watched both of the movies.
Oh, you watched the first one?
Yeah, and I don't think it was bad. I didn't love it, I'll say. But I didn't love it. But then again, Divers, I'm not a superhero movie fan.
Yeah. When did you watch... Okay, let's pause on this.
I don't even
When did you watch Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman?
I don't even remember.
Because you watched Wonder Woman 84 around Christmas time.
I think it was after that. I think her dad put it on. I had family, and I think my father-in-law put it on.
Because I think the Wonder Woman movie is good.
Yeah, and I just think she shouldn't have been in this movie because
it's too much shit.
They didn't develop it well. And I guess if they're trying to make a Justice League start, this is Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
they should have had it be a movie about Batman and Superman. Instead, it kind of was like a movie about Lex Luthor and a movie about Krypton, and I don't know what it was all. This movie was weird, especially considering Lex Luthor is like a Superman villain, but he acted like the Joker. I don't know. This.
So we should say this feels like the end of the movie. There's literally an hour left.
Yeah, or maybe like 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it was actually no. It's 80 minutes because I stopped the movie here and then restarted it the next day because I was like, how much is left? There's 80 minutes of movie left.
Are you serious?
Yes. Right here, there's 80 minutes more movie. More than an hour.
At a certain point in the movie, I paused it so I could go up and so I could get up, go use the bathroom, grab a drink or whatever. And I looked at it and I was halfway through. I flipped off the screen and I said, "Fuck Nick."
I didn't make this movie, Dave. I'm not the greatest director of all time, Zack Snyder.
I mean, that's what I did, so I cursed your name.
That's not fair. But anyways, let's get back to this point. Finally, at 2 hours and 30 minutes into the movie, this turned into a superhero movie.
Yeah, now it's like Wonder Woman and Batman versus Doomsday because Superman.
Well, Superman shows back up, and
that's true. He gets healed by the sun.
Yeah.
And comes back.
That's all. Like, if you read The Dark Knight Returns, that whole scene happens.
That's canon.
I said, Zack Snyder. He looked at The Dark Knight Returns and he said, "What parts did Chris Nolan not do? All right, I'll do that, and that." And he took those things. Anything that wasn't in The Dark Knight Rises went into this movie.
Yeah.
And this is a good fight. Wonder Woman is awesome.
She pretty much dominates the fight.
And she's like, you immediately, you brought up D&D a couple times. Wonder Woman has slayed a giant before. You can tell because she hits all the giant weak spots. Yeah. She's like, Achilles tendon, hamstring. Like, she knows how
she's like, bring it low, use your shield.
She knows how to fight a giant. I've killed things from other worlds before. Not in any of the movies we've seen, but
she's kind of an analog to Captain America here.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's like a great military strategist.
I mean, she doesn't detract from the movie. I just feel like there are too many threads in this movie. I mean, why? I mean, they're right there by the water. Why didn't Aquaman come out and help?
I don't know.
Because they could have.
They could. Yeah.
I mean, it's
why not? Why didn't the Green Lantern come?
And why didn't the Flash show up? I mean, they could have Cyborg. Fuck it. Time travel is already introduced in the movie. They could have just done it all.
Does the Flash not have CNN? Because Anderson Cooper has been covering this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean,
anyway, let's
wrap this up.
We'll put a bow on it. Superman gets the kryptonite spear, even though it makes him weak.
And he lances him.
He finishes his... Well, no, he doesn't finish it. He does the penultimate part of the Christ metaphor, where Superman dies for our sins. He sacrifices himself to stop Doomsday.
Yeah.
He takes the spear, drives it through Doomsday. Doomsday jabs him on one of his bone spikes. I hope you didn't think your kids wanted to watch this movie about Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman because Superman's exposed rib cage is in it.
And he dies.
Superman dies. Yeah. It's a total bum out. Like, can you... should there even be an R-rated movie about Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman?
I don't know, but ultimately at the end of this situation, like, because then they drag it out. There's a funeral, and then there's fucking there's Batman and Wonder Woman talking and stuff, or Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman.
Help me find the other metahumans.
Yeah, and I'm just like thinking to myself, so I hate Batman in this movie. Bruce Wayne is a petulant man-child. Mm-hmm. He's ruled by his emotions.
Yeah.
He's not logical. He's not relatable. He's not a person I at all give a shit about. And I'm a Batman fan.
Right.
They have him, and then they have Diana, who is just... She's a cameo until the very end. She's not even part of the plot at all.
She's just sort of like a cipher moving through the movie.
Yeah, and then they kill Superman, the only character in this movie that I liked. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, man, fuck this movie. This is fucking garbage. Like, and I said this is garbage over an hour ago, and it continued to be garbage. It didn't redeem itself.
Yeah. So the only thing you missed is the various stuff with Lex.
Lex goes to the fucking asylum. They
we see
Batman is gonna brand him, but he doesn't.
And the probably the most pertinent to Justice League is you see before Lex gets arrested, you see him talking to some big horned alien.
Yeah, there's a big horned alien thing guy.
Yeah,
who is that?
Steppenwolf.
Oh,
so
yes.
Steppenwolf is one of Apocalypse's minions and is the big bad of Justice League.
Also a good band.
No doubt. Steppenwolf is a pretty good band.
Yes.
Proto metal, blues rock. Yeah.
I like rock and roll. So
that's it, man. We covered it.
Shit movie. Fucking terrible. Waste of time. Don't watch it, divers.
Well, I mean, so if we're gonna say that, what worked for you, Dave? What were the high points of BVS?
Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck did good. They were good acting, and especially that scene when it's when it's Clark Kent the reporter and Bruce Wayne the billionaire at the gala. That scene between them really works. I think every scene with Lois and every scene with Mrs. Clark is good. Those are
Martha Clark. How could you forget the name Martha Kent?
I just think of her in high regard, so I call her Mrs. Clark. I think that those characters are especially well acted. I'd say Jeremy Irons is amazing.
Oh, so good. Best Alfred.
Yeah, best Alfred ever. Like, with an exclamation point. He's literally best Alfred. Like, he's easily best Alfred.
I love just like he gets these easy one-liners on Bruce all the time. Like, there's like, it's not an important scene in the movie really. So Bruce wakes up. There's a unimportant female character in the bed. Bruce, he like crunches up a Vicodin and like takes a swig of wine, and then Alfred comes in a little bit later and he's just picking up wine bottles and he's like, "Oh, I hope the next generation of Waynes doesn't inherit an empty wine cellar." Who am I kidding? There won't be a next generation of Waynes.
Says something later like, and so falls the house of Wayne, or something like that.
Yeah. Jeremy Irons, chef's kiss. Jeremy Irons is so good.
Yeah. So the casting, I would say, if there's one thing in this movie that was done well, it was the casting. So that worked for me. So what was your personal highlight?
Oh, I mean, we're in 100% agreement. This cast is amazing. And because you didn't talk about them, I will go on and talk about the other members of the Justice League.
Okay.
Jason Momoa, I would have never picked. You look at Aquaman's always treated as a joke, right?
Yeah.
Casting Jason Momoa as Aquaman is so left field and so brilliant and is bearing good fruit in that Aquaman has launched a franchise of its own off of Jason Momoa.
Yeah, I haven't seen those movies. Or is there more than one?
There's only one so far. Yeah, I don't know if you'd like it or not. It's amazing. Like, it's directed by James Wan, who directed some of the Fast and the Furious movies.
Okay.
Which you like.
I have seen all of them.
There's some very Pacific Rim moments, which I know you like, because there's a lot of
big fan.
Big monsters under the sea and stuff like that. So it's like, potentially, you might like Aquaman. Aquaman is...
and I'm a big Jason Momoa fan.
Yeah, so you might like Aquaman. It's a pretty fun, stupid action movie. Just like...
I do tend to like stupid action movies. Like, I like Bloodshot.
Yeah. If you like Bloodshot, you like Jason Momoa, you like kaiju that come from the bottom of the sea,
yeah.
and you like Fast and the Furious style action, Aquaman is a good movie.
I guess I have to watch Aquaman.
Okay. Yeah, so, but, like, no one but Zack Snyder would cast Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Like, he has a vision that I really appreciate, but the writing, this movie is just a fucking mess. There's no, I want to...
Well, we're in the personal highlights section.
Okay.
You like the casting.
I like the casting. I
Okay.
love the cinematography. This movie is beautiful. I think, like,
okay,
there's
maybe.
some really just like, because if you follow Zack Snyder on Vero, he
Nobody uses Vero.
Do you follow the greatest director of all time on the social media platform that no one uses?
Less than Pinterest.
We have a profile on Vero, Divers, if you want to follow us there.
Oh my god, I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, Vero. I use our Vero account. I post actively on our Vero.
Oh god.
It's just me and Zack Snyder. We are the two users of Vero. But Zack Snyder posts like screen grabs of his movies all the time.
On Vero?
Yeah, and he'll be like,
Is he on Instagram? Like, is he doing it everywhere?
I think he populates out his Vero posts to the other platforms, like Vero to Twitter, because Vero and Twitter play really well with each other.
Okay.
But Vero is his main platform.
Wow, that's really weak.
I think you mean interesting.
No, I was right the first time.
But anyways, he posts screen grabs of his movie, and I just think I'd hang that on my wall. That's a beautiful picture of Ben Affleck standing in an empty field looking sad. So someone would be like, why is this the centerpiece of your living room?
Yeah.
But I would hang it on my wall. I think this movie looks amazing.
Okay.
I love the trailer for every Zack Snyder movie. And then I watch the movie and I get let down. Okay, personal highlights. What is another person?
I mean, you can be done with personal highlights. That's okay.
Competent Lois.
That's a carryover from
I wish there was more Flash.
I don't. I wish there was no Flash.
You're right.
There's too much bullshit in this movie.
There's too much shit.
They should have left it simply as an icon in the metahuman file that has a lightning bolt on it. Just leave it a mystery.
Stop writing a better movie.
Sometimes you gotta have mystery. Sometimes you need a little bit of a reveal, like a teaser for the super fans.
Let's pause that. So, because Bruce does that, right? He opens the file that he gets from Lex, and he only looks at the Wonder Woman one because she's in the movie, and that's the immediate next movie that's coming out.
They look at the Aquaman one.
No, Diana looks at the other one.
Okay, gotcha.
You could not show Bruce looking at it, and you could only show Diana.
Yeah. And
then have her only look at her own file and then cut away before she clicks on the other ones. You don't need to shoehorn in a trailer for the other three movies.
100%. I think you need to have the teaser, so that when you watch Justice League, you're like, oh, those are the other metahumans. But all the comic book nerds would be like, of course, I know.
The lightning bolt is the Flash, the A is Aquaman, and
actually it's a chevron.
What was Cyborg's symbol? Like a C?
I don't even know.
C for cyborg, but it's like one of those little power signs from a computer. Anyways,
I think the Cyborg one was the shittiest one.
We're drifting into what didn't work.
Okay, so specifically what didn't work. In my notes here, I wrote, "Did a child write BVS?" The beats are so ridiculously juvenile. The entire Batman versus Superman fight, which is what everybody was hyped for, was completely and utterly pointless.
It's the low point of the movie. The movie is Batman v Superman, and Batman v Superman is the worst thing in the whole movie.
Yeah, it's completely lame. And the fact that the thing that unites them is the random chance that their mothers have the same name. Is that really your big plot reveal? Are you the Hollywood $1 million paid writers? Is that what you came up with as your big plot twist to unify these characters? I call that weak as fuck. You are shit. Garbage writers. Trash. Not worth anything. I could do better, and I'm not a fucking writer. I'm a fucking teacher. I could do better than that. Batman, shit character in this movie. I love Batman as a character. Dark Knight, maybe my trilogy, maybe my favorite comic book movies, period. This version of Batman, petulant man-child. No respect. None. And that has nothing to do with Ben Affleck's portrayal. Ben Affleck does a fairly good job. He's better than Keaton, and I like Keaton. And that says a lot. If Batfleck had been the Dark Knight movies, that would have been the shit.
Oh, that would have been so good.
He's better than Bale, and I like Bale. It's just like
the bad writing.
Yeah, this writing was so fucking horrible. They wasted an all-star amazeballs cast. Like, this cast is the best Superman, the best Batman, but the worst fucking movie. How did they do this? It's fucking horrible. Like, I've had students write better than this. I write better than this. This is terrible. This is shit. Zack Snyder cut a terrible fucking movie. It's 3 hours wasted. There was no reason to watch this. I can't believe you made me do this. I'm done.
Oh, that was awesome. So that's exactly why I wanted to cover this, because
you hate me? What the fuck?
No, because you have to see it. Like, you have to see this beautiful abomination, whatever. It's like, so the first hour of the movie is good. The last hour of the movie is kind of good.
I don't agree.
The whole middle is, well, because like the last hour, like, I love the fight with Doomsday. I love Batman rescuing Martha.
I don't need a king.
I like the funeral. I like all that stuff. The whole middle is what is the mess. It's just such a mess. It's such bad writing.
I didn't throw in there the fact that they had Superman die and left him dead at the end of this movie. That's stupid. That's garbage. I love Superman. After Man of Steel.
I love that you've become a Superman convert, though. So this makes it worth it.
I am fully on board with Superman. I'm fully on board with this version of Kal-El, and they left him dead. Fuck that.
Well, you gotta come back for his Justice League.
I don't even want to watch Justice League after this, but I will.
We have to. We have to. Okay, so that's what didn't work for you.
Yeah. The whole thing.
I mean, ditto, I guess. Like I said, the beginning works, the end works, the middle of this movie is a disaster. I absolutely love Ben Affleck playing Batman, and I love Jeremy Irons playing Alfred. And Divers, I know you don't follow our Tumblr. And you don't follow our Pinterest either. Although I lovingly curate these pages for you. You're not there. But if you were to go to our Tumblr right now,
I don't even have those apps installed.
And look at all of the highlights of this movie that I've posted up on Tumblr, if you just watch the GIFs that came from this movie, you would be utterly convinced this was the greatest superhero movie ever.
It could have been, though.
Yeah, it could have been. It has all the shit.
It has Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
Do you know the episode of Friends where Rachel's baking a trifle, but the 2 pages of the cookbook get stuck together?
Never watched that one.
Oh, 'cause Lisa used to. She had all the DVDs pre-streaming. She's baking a trifle, but 2 pages of the cookbook are stuck together, and so she bakes a trifle, but in the middle of the trifle is like a meat pie. And a trifle is like a thing with like sponge cake and strawberry and all this stuff, and then there's like a layer of hamburger in the middle of it. Ugh. And Joey eats it because he's an idiot. But this movie is Rachel's trifle, where she's got all the ingredients, but she's made a horror show of a dessert out of it. And that's what this movie is. It's like, I look at it and I go, this looks good. I want all this stuff. I want, every time Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot are on screen together, it's awesome. They have such good chemistry with each other. Mm-hmm. Every time Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck out of costume are on screen together, it's awesome. They have great chemistry. I just want, it's like the Star Wars prequels. I want to love this movie and I can't because it's bad.
Dude, after watching Man of Steel, I wanted to love this movie.
Yeah.
But it was so shit. Okay. So we need to do our final thoughts and our ratings.
Oof.
So what do you rate Man of Steel?
You go first. I want to hear what yours is.
Oh, so I give it a 3.5. It's good. Mm-hmm. I recommend this for anyone. It's not great. It's not like a cinematic triumph, but it's fun and it's enjoyable, and anyone can like Superman after this movie. If you watch this movie and you don't like Superman afterward, you're a monster.
So I had a conversation a while back with our mutual friend Mario, mm-hmm. and I don't know if he listens to this or not, but shout out to Mario if you do. And I was trying to explain to him why Superman is a good character, and like it borderline turned into a fight. Because he was like,
yeah, he hates Superman.
Superman is not a good character. He's not interesting, and I don't believe someone with that much power would be that good. and I was like trying to tell him like, here's 3 Superman stories so you can get why Superman is a good character. Man of Steel's one of them. It's a good movie. I totally agree with you. 3.5. We're on the same page.
Yeah, this is a great... I wouldn't say it's a great movie. It was a good movie.
It's a good superhero movie.
Well, it's a 3.5 is an unqualified recommend. Like, I don't have to say why I recommend it, mm-hmm. Or only to a specific crowd. This is literally like any human being should watch this movie because it's fun and it's good.
Do you like genre fiction? Here's one.
Yeah, this is basically a sci-fi and it's fun. Mm-hmm. And I like that. So IMDb gave it a 7.5 out of 10, which is exactly a 3.5.
Yeah.
So we totally agreed with that. Rotten Tomatoes only gave it a 56%. I don't fully agree with that. And Metacritic gave it a 55%. I feel like Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic probably are suffering from the critics' hatred of the cheap genres, mm-hmm. the action flicks and superhero movies and comedies, things that aren't cinema. So they're just movies.
I said we'd get back to this. Not like around Christmas time, I rewatched the Dick Donner Superman because
Dick Donger,
Dick Donger, yeah, because Wonder Woman 84 so sort of shamelessly is a tribute to the Dick Donner Superman movies.
Yeah,
and so I went back. I was like,
that movie's a 3.0 Divers.
I would say. I have a hard time arguing with that. That's a 3-star movie. But I went back and watched the Dick Donner Superman to kind of see, like, show me the source code. I want to see what Patty Jenkins is trying to do. And changed my perspective of Man of Steel, because I had kind of thought Man of Steel was like a middle finger to the Dick Donner Superman. Mm-hmm. But he really, he remixes it and makes it a 2010s movie. Mm-hmm. But he hits every single beat from the Dick Donner Superman just in his 2010 way.
Yeah.
And I actually think Zack Snyder loves the Dick Donner Superman movie. And it's almost like I used to think that Zack Snyder didn't get Superman, and I think he totally gets Superman now.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, Man of Steel standalone movie made me a Superman fan.
Okay.
Like, on its own. Just nothing else. Well, I shouldn't say nothing else. I'm a Henry Cavill fan. Yeah. Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder together made me a fan of Superman.
Who wrote that one? I think that's David Goyer, too.
Because I mean, honestly, that movie is fun. It's like...
David Goyer.
You feel a lot of empathy for Clark in that movie, like boy Clark, and you feel a lot of empathy for grown-up Clark, and it's just a great movie. So let's go ahead and rate Batman versus Superman.
I'll go first because I made you go first last time.
All right.
And I've gone all over the place on this, and I'm gonna call it a 2.75.
Whoa, that is
high.
That's so generous.
Okay.
So go ahead and justify your reason.
Because of those things, the things that I love, the casting, the handful of scenes, like the 4 or 5 scenes that I really love.
It's 3 hours, dude.
That's why I didn't give it a 3, which would be a super qualified recommendation. I'm recommending you not see this movie, but I almost would recommend you see it. I subjected Dave to this, but I would not recommend you see this movie if you haven't already seen it.
You would almost recommend watching it twice?
Yeah, I would almost recommend it. I would recommend you go to our Tumblr page and look at all the cool GIFs.
Dude, just listen to this podcast. You don't need to watch it.
We made it more entertaining.
I talked to Carrie about this movie because she saw both of them in the theater, and she said Man of Steel was a really good sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
And she said Batman vs. Superman was just a boring 3-hour piece of trash in her own way. That was
in the Carrie way.
Yeah. I totally agree. This was a 1.5 star movie.
Okay.
And now I would have given it 1, but I had to go 0.5. I give it half a star because if you're a comic book nerd, if you're a Superman guy or a Batman guy, or gal, if you're just super into these characters, or even you're a Wonder Woman fan, you would watch it only for the sake of completion because you don't want to say, I didn't see that one. I saw them all except that one.
Yeah, but that's a 1, what did you say, 1.5?
Yeah, because, first of all, it's bad. It's not good. It's not worth watching. It's just a hard no. But if you're a completionist,
you have to see it.
You have to see it. So that's the only qualification on the 1 star is completionists need to see it. It's like I couldn't tell you to watch it because if you're like, oh man, I really love the casting, blah blah blah, watch Man of Steel. If you're like, oh yeah, I think there were moments of greatness, watch Man of Steel. Like, there's no reason to watch this movie.
Okay, so yeah, let's see. I guess, I mean, other than the fact that we're just not going to get a Ben Affleck solo Batman movie.
Yeah, why not?
It would be much easier. Oh, I think that's next episode.
The politics of
the politics of this bizarre thing that's happened with this movie. I think Justice League is going to be the most expensive movie of all time by the time this is all the books closed.
Oh man,
and it's not going to be good.
Well,
but you would be better served to watch Man of Steel. Let's say Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, and Aquaman.
I'm gonna go watch Aquaman.
You had a better time than watching this movie.
I'm going to watch Aquaman to prep myself for
Justice League?
Justice League.
Oh, but Aquaman takes place after Justice League.
Oh, does it? So maybe I shouldn't.
You should wait.
Okay. But yeah, I can't go above...
You can watch Suicide Squad if you really...
No. I will not do it. And the only way I do it is if we're doing an episode on it, because...
Suicide Squad, since we're all over the board right now, that's a 3-star movie, but it's my favorite DC movie.
I hate that, just the Jared Leto Joker.
Jared Leto's barely in that movie. Ugh. This is the Will Smith and Margot Robbie joint. It's not a Jared Leto movie. He's like Lex. He shows up to irritate you, but he's not a big part of the movie.
Okay, maybe I'm still not gonna watch it.
Don't watch it. I do not recommend. Wait for the director's cut. HBO Max is throwing...
How can you give it a 3 if you do not recommend
I love it. I love that movie.
Okay.
Do you remember... So...
I don't even think the characters look cool. Like, I've seen the art and the trailers and stuff.
You don't like Killer Croc?
I don't even think they look cool. I think they look lame. They look like farcical parodies. They don't even look like... Like, for example, in Batman vs. Superman... They look pretty legit. Like, everything looks pretty cool. Like, if you take a still...
You get a little bit of Ben Affleck Batman in that movie, too.
Oh, do you know?
You get him fighting the Joker.
Does he beat the Joker? Because that's what you really want.
Well, I'm not going to spoil the 3-star masterpiece, Suicide Squad.
We should do a thing on the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix.
You've never seen it, and
I have not seen it.
It's one of the... We're way off track, but Joker's worth watching. Okay, let's get this shit back.
You gave it 2 3/4 stars. I can't talk you down to 2.5 or 2.
You could easily talk me down to 2.5. I'm not going lower than that.
So let's go. Your official rating is 2.5. Mine is 1.5.
Okay.
So we settle on a 2 as the average.
All right, I'm good with that. I think that fits the movie we just reviewed.
Don't watch it. It's not
good. Or do watch it.
It's not good.
Or do what? So watch it. Watch the first hour. Fast forward to maybe the Batman workout. Fast forward again to the thing where Bruce and Diana are like dancing together.
I'm shaking my head. No, don't do that.
Fast forward again to the last hour of the movie.
So I would say if you liked if you liked Man of Steel,
and you want to just watch Justice League,
if you liked Man of Steel, do not watch BVS.
Because it does. Okay, that's fair.
Because
it drags down Man of Steel.
It really does, because Man of Steel was so good and this was not. And it's like at the end of Man of Steel, I was just saying, my inner monologue was like, fuck yeah, Superman. Dope shit. And then...
Oh, that's so good. I got some recommended comics for you.
And then when I watched this, I was like, fuck no. Batman sucks. Superman's still cool. Should not be dead. And that was I guess that's the end of it. I have more thoughts.
That's a wrap. Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Fuck that movie.
Ultimate Edition. All right, welcome back, divers. We know this has been a long one. I mean, not longer than normal for us, but still a long time for you to be listening. We're going to get down to our final segment, the one where I ask Dave, what are you into right now?
All right, so I've been super busy with work, with Barrowland stuff, getting a haircut, the important things.
The important stuff in life.
So I just want to give 2 quick streaming recommendations to the divers out there. Nothing that I'm going to go into too deeply. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, I want to say that, everyone knows that I am unabashedly a fan of trashy reality television.
Okay.
So this one isn't actually trashy, but it's a little formulaic. It's called Forged in Fire.
Oh, yeah, I know about that show.
This is a blacksmithing competition show. It's basically they bring in 4 blacksmiths and they make, or sometimes more depending on specific episodes, and they make knives or swords based on specific parameters, and then they do these crazy tests where they like hit crazy things.
You like competitive reality or unscripted shows?
Yeah, I like unscripted stuff, and so this is cool. I mean, I have a friend who has won one of these before.
Oh wow.
Yeah, his name is Grendel. He actually teaches blacksmithing in Vancouver. He's won one of these episodes before, and
I had an anvil in my barn. Could I become a blacksmith?
Oh, 100%. No problem, dude. And so, yeah, this show is fun. It's a little bit repetitive in that it's forging. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, if you like knives and you like swords and stuff, this is fun. It's cool. It's light watching. Like, this is phoneable.
Yeah.
Like, you look up and you're like, oh shit, that's a cool knife. I mean, it's definitely light watching. You can put it on while you're doing the dishes, whatever.
I just check in and out.
Yeah, I like this show. Forged in Fire, I've watched it on Hulu. I've watched it at this point, it's on Netflix. They got picked up. I like it. It's fun. I have a friend on there, so it's just
What season is your buddy on?
Oh man, that's a good question. I can't even remember. His website is Red Troll Forge.
Okay.
So if you're interested, Red Troll Forge. Anyway, the other thing I'm gonna recommend, just a quick streaming recommend, came to me via Nick and Lisa, and that is Big Mouth.
Oh,
nice. I am now on season 3 of Big Mouth.
Okay.
I'm about, I'd say, like 3 episodes into season 3, and this is a creation of like Nick Kroll, I believe, is kind of the mastermind behind it.
yeah.
And I know him. I became a fan of his humor from the show The League.
Okay.
Where he plays one of the main characters.
So The League has a lot of heavy hitters comedy wise in
it's
it.
funny as hell.
And I've never watched it. It's worth watching if I've never watched it.
Even if, because the like kind of the idea is that there's a fantasy football league. But that it has nothing to do with the show. Like,
okay.
They're just a bunch of friends who have a shared activity.
Okay.
And it's really funny. Like, if you like sitcoms, this is a really great one.
I like all the people on The
dude,
League.
you should watch The League. Just start with season 1, episode 1, and just watch it. You're going to enjoy it.
Probably will.
Like, I love the character Taco. I love Andre. Like, I love all these characters.
Okay.
Like, I want to go watch it right now.
Okay.
Anyway, Big Mouth is from Nick Kroll from The League. That's how I gained access. And Nick and Lisa recommended this. And sort of the funny anecdote was like they recommended this, and then we had family in town for the holidays. I put this on, highly inappropriate.
Oh yeah.
Because the idea behind this show, it's a cartoon, and it is a bunch of middle schoolers going through puberty and all of that, and so it has kind of some bizarro world, like mental stuff. They have these little mental mind sequences of crazy things that happen, and they have these hormone monsters that are sort of like an imaginary friend that encourages them to make really bad decisions, based on their hormones.
Yeah, it's all metaphorical, but it's literal for the sake of the show.
And it's fun, and at the very beginning you're just like, oh my god, this is ridiculous, this is hella vulgar. But as you watch it and you kind of, I guess, get desensitized to the vulgarity of the show.
Oh yeah, it really there's some stuff in there that you're like, I don't even know if this is okay.
Yeah, like, can this be on Netflix? Like, yeah. And then after a while, you're kind of invested in the journey of specific characters. Like, and I mean, you've watched more of it than I have. So,
you say it's recommended by Nick and Lisa. This is a Lisa jammy jam.
Okay.
Like, this plays in my house 80% of the time. Like, it is always on.
Dude, it's really fucking funny. Like I laugh pretty hard. Like I get some real laughs. Like not just a LOL that's not really a laugh. I actually will laugh out loud at this show sometimes. And so I just enjoy it. So I figure if the divers like something that's like pretty vulgar, but is, it's on Netflix, so it's not crossing the line.
Yeah, there's a meta moment in the most recent season when Nick says he's talking about a sort of imaginary show that some other characters are in, and he goes, "Who's even the audience for this show? It's about middle schoolers, but it's filthy." Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I guess whoever I am watching this, I'm the audience for that show.
This is for adults. This is not for middle schoolers.
Yeah. Although I think a middle schooler would have a lot to relate to in it, because I think it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's funny, and and there's a lot of moments where you think back to your own adolescence, and you're just like, oh shit, yeah, I remember that phase.
Because there's so the very first episode, it opens kind of with a sex ed class, and so I remember, and I'm not going to use last names, or even first names.
Yeah.
So, but sixth grade sex ed class, essentially, we were a year younger than these kids are. But there was a boy in sex ed class who was one of those overdeveloped kids where he has a mustache, in the sixth grade. And he made the bad mistake of wearing bicycle shorts to school on the day that we had the sex ed class. And so this, like...
That could be a whole episode.
11-year-old who looks like a 16-year-old... gets stimulated, we'll say, by the sex ed video we were watching, and it was very visible to the rest of the class.
That could be a Big Mouth episode.
Yeah, exactly. Big Mouth is loaded with all of those awkward things that happen to you when you're 12.
Yeah, so those are my two streaming recommends. If you find yourself some time where you need something on in the background, or you're really interested in knives and swords and blacksmithing, check out Forged in Fire. If you want something that's crude but funny, check out Big Mouth.
Okay.
So what are you into right now?
It is crazy because I have a very similar plan to you in that I had sort of two streaming things that I was going to recommend.
Okay. Wow, we didn't even coordinate that.
No, we didn't. So number one is the unqualified recommend. Okay. I finally started watching Schitt's Creek. It's like 6 seasons in. It's won 1 million awards, Golden Globes and Emmys and whatever. Everyone knows Schitt's Creek is good. I'm the one that's late to the party. You've probably already seen it, divers, but I'm just getting caught up on it, and it's hilarious. It's funny, it's smart, it's heartwarmingly Canadian. It's about a rich family of New Yorkers who, through financial hardships, are down on their luck, and the only thing that's kind of left in their name that's untouchable by the IRS is this small town in Canada called Schitt's Creek that the dad bought for the son as a joke, and they end up living there. And it's sort of like Northern Exposure, if you're old enough to remember that show. Man. And it's really funny, and it's really smart, and it's really sweet in ways you don't expect it to be.
You know what's weird is, like, I've heard the buzz around that show, like the awards, and various people have sort of dropped the name here and there. I've never watched it, and the superficial reason why I never watched it was I thought the name was stupid.
Yeah,
if a show has a stupid name, I generally just skip it.
Yeah, because you've never seen Jojo Rabbit, and that's a
stupid name.
Brilliant movie. That's so good.
Yeah, I've heard the same. I've heard that it was really good. But anytime I see something with just a stupid ass name, I'm just like, fuck that.
You know what? Here's what I'll say: is you watched Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice (Ultimate Edition).
That's true.
You could definitely watch Jojo Rabbit. You could come off your high horse and watch that.
Here's the deal, though. I never would have watched Man of Steel let alone Batman versus
But
Superman.
Man of Steel was good.
If you had not prompted me for this damn episode.
Okay,
so
we'll do an episode on Jojo
if
Rabbit.
we do an
someday.
episode on Joe Rabbit, I mean, dude, you could do an episode on whatever, and I'd end up watching it.
Yeah. Okay. But anyways, everyone knows Schitt's Creek is good. You should watch it if you haven't watched it. And if you're rewatching it for the third time, I get it. But
Okay.
the thing I actually...
Is it as good as something like, I mean, like, where do you put it in the pantheon of shows? What is it good like?
Like if Arrested Development wasn't about assholes.
Okay. I like Arrested Development.
Yeah.
But it's also funny.
Yes, it's very funny, but it's Canadian. So it's like... So it's something... I like Canadian shows. I like Kim's Convenience. I like Letterkenny. I like Trailer Park Boys.
I love those shows.
I like... There's something...
Okay, not Kim's Convenience, but the other two.
It's good. You didn't stick it out long enough. There's something about the Canadian sensibility of where it's snarky but sweet that really hits a sweet point for me, where it's like, that's my own sensibility. Like, I am a shitter, but I have a good heart. Yeah, so it's like Canadian stuff really appeals to me.
Okay. I think this is something I should get going, because I'm in a little bit of a lull of what I would consider serious content or something I'm really interested in. Because I finished everything.
And hey, actually, unintentional segue. Canadian produced content. Age of Samurai: Battle for Japan on Netflix.
I saw that and I almost watched it.
Okay, I'm going to give it a qualified recommendation.
Okay.
It's only 6 episodes.
That's easy.
And in my opinion, is trying to have its cake and eat it too and be 2 different things. And I wish it was one thing.
Okay.
But I'm gonna get into this a little bit. So Matt Bowie is the showrunner on this.
Gotcha.
It's like a Learning Channel, Discovery Channel sort of documentary show about the Sengoku period of Japan, right? The warring clans period.
Yeah, it seemed a little documentary-ish.
Yes, but the dramatizations that it cuts to are very cinematic, very highly produced, well acted, and graphically violent, graphically sexual. It's like hard PG-13 to soft R rated.
Hard PG-13.
There's like side boob, like, you know, like, and there's a lot of blood. Like,
Okay.
they compare it to Game of Thrones.
Okay.
But it's like if Game of Thrones was just the highlights and you cut to historians explaining what happened.
Okay. Gotcha.
Actually, I didn't plan it, but that's a really good description of this show. And
It's
so,
like A World of Ice and Fire, that book.
yeah, totally, yeah. But instead of maesters, it's actual like PhDs in Japanese history. And it's good. Like, it's a good documentary show, but like, say if you were an educator, hypothetically, if you were an educator teaching history, you couldn't show this to your class because there's beheadings and boobs and like stuff that you can't show to kids.
Real stuff, yeah.
But if you just want to watch Japanese Game of Thrones, it's also not that, because because you cut to these historians talking about the events. I wish this show had picked a lane in a way that it didn't.
Okay.
But I still enjoyed it. And I'm, as a fan, that's the wrong word, as an enthusiast of that period of history and as an enthusiast of samurai films, it appealed to me. But what I really wanted it to be, it wasn't.
Okay.
But I do think it's worth watching the 6 episodes that are on Netflix. And
I'll give that a shot.
yeah. And then I know like Hulu is doing an adaptation of Shogun.
Oh.
And then hopefully that is the thing I wish this was.
Man, I yeah, that sounds good. We
Yeah.
really should do like just a straight up Japanese, like a samurai thing, because we've alluded to it in like Mandalorian and whatnot. We should really just do it.
I just bought that Criterion collection of all the Lone Wolf and Cub movies.
Oh man, that none of that's available for streaming, is it?
I don't think so, but we can watch it together, or I can loan you the Blu-rays. Whatever.
I do have the PlayStation, so I can watch them.
Okay, but we're getting off track. Divers, those are our recommendations: Age of Samurai and Forged in Fire,
as well as Big Mouth
and Schitt's Creek.
All right, so we got 4 streaming recommendations.
Oh yeah, you're set.
Extremely different. None of them are very similar at all.
And then in 3 days, I'd like you, if you're up for it, subject yourself to Zack Snyder's Justice League, a 4-hour.
Is it 4 hours?
It's 4 hours long.
Oh no!
Split into 6 episodes.
Why?
He's the greatest filmmaker
and
of all time.
And is this on HBO Max?
It's on HBO Max.
Jesus, Nick.
I'd like you to subject yourself to it along with us, and then we will be back in 2 weeks to tell you what we thought of it.
I hope you're ready, Divers, because I'm going to come into this.
He's going to come in hot.
Like, think back to our last Unicorn episode. I am the flaming bull. This fucking movie is the last unicorn. I'm coming after it.
Okay. It's time for the call to action, Dave.
All right. So we ask that you subscribe to us on your favorite podcatcher and rate us generously. A 5-star review costs you nothing, but means everything to us.
You can find us on all social media platforms across the metaverse as Deep Dive the Meta. We are on Instagram, which is my preferred platform, Twitter, which is Dave's preferred platform, but we're also on Pinterest, which no one prefers, although it's pretty good. And Tumblr's pretty good too.
And Vero.
We've got like 2 followers on all of these platforms. What? I know you have an account, Diver. Follow us.
Well, I guess this is really goodbye.
Don't say goodbye. Say good journey.